I'm Gabriel Ritchie.
I'm Jeremiah McConan.
Welcome to the 40th episode of the Ritchie and Mecco Connection. Jay, 40 episodes, 40 official episodes. We've had a few bonuses in there that we don't really count towards the total, but
That's
what a
just crazy
ride.
to me,
What a
bro.
ride.
It really has been a hell of a ride. It's just crazy because it still feels like we started this yesterday, low key.
It does.
Like I know a lot of shit has happened, but it feels like we're still getting like our podcast legs under us, like we're still
We
getting
are,
used to it
yeah.
and shit,
Yeah,
which
I
is
mean, when you
a
look at how
kind of
many,
fun.
like, the top guys, all the biggest podcasts, for the most part, unless you're a celebrity who starts one, they, even if you're like a fairly famous sports personality, the really
Mhm.
big ones are thousands of episodes in.
Right, bro. Like
Thousands. Like
3, 4,
thousands.
5 years put into this
Simmons.
shit.
Simmons is thousands. When you combine this one
Easily
and like his old ESPN, like that's thousands of episodes of podcasting. So,
facts.
uh, anyways, yeah, we were just talking beforehand. We're definitely gonna do something big for the 50th episode. Maybe in person. We'll see. Have some special guests. But yeah, today we're gonna talk about the NBA trade deadline. We're gonna make our Super Bowl picks, and we're gonna finish with Attack on Titan. First, we're gonna have a little silly discussion real quick. Before we bring in Clevis, we're having Clevis Murray of the Buffalo News. He's coming back on. He's gonna talk NBA with us. But before that, we we gotta talk about this red pill stuff. We gotta set the
Mhm.
record straight on male podcasts and
Yeah.
how they differ from uh, genre to genre.
Right.
But before
Right.
that, Jay, I need to tell you this story because I was telling you I've had a hellacious week. That's partly not just because the deadline ended today, but partly we're recording today because literally I've been busy all week, haven't had a minute to spare. Uh, Real quick, my commute home from work today was hell.
Oh no.
My coworker was nice enough so I'm in the North End
Mhm.
and I walk to State. I walk to Haymarket usually, hop on the Orange Line. I park at Green. I get in my car at Green. I go home.
Okay.
Uh, this guy's like, hey, you want a ride? I can give you a ride to Haymarket. So
Yeah.
he's driving me. We go past Haymarket. He takes me to State, which is even better.
Oh,
State's closer,
okay.
right?
Okay.
You thought I was getting murdered or something?
Yeah. He takes me
No,
out to the woods.
no. Yeah, he drives. I'm like, all right. I look at my seat. I always look down at the seat when I leave any Uber or whatever to make sure I didn't
Yeah.
lose anything.
I have to.
Um,
That's a must.
and there's nothing there. And he drives off, and I'm at State, and I pad my pockets, and I left my phone in his
Oh,
car, or I left it at
Jesus.
work. So now I'm even further from work than I normally would be, and I had to hustle back to work because people are gonna be like, "Where the fuck is he?" Blah blah
Right.
blah. I have no music to listen to, no any. So it's just pure rage,
Yeah,
just
this is a
walking home
disaster.
because I was in a rush to get home too. I was in a rush to get home.
Right.
I get to my office hoping my phone's there because I didn't see it in my coworker's car. My phone is
Yeah.
not there. So I'm like, what the hell? I bust open my laptop because I'm emailing him and shit. And then I use the work phone and I call my phone constantly. Finally, he picks up. He's like, oh, I'll circle back. And yeah, I got home super late today and it was a mess. Oh, and on the train ride home, there was an absolute goblin screaming the entire time. In the train, every stop waited like 2 minutes to take off. And while it waited, the doors were ringing for some reason. And it was a fucking nightmare. I had my
Yo,
headphones on full blast, and you would think this guy was screaming into my soul the way he was
yo,
screaming.
what was he screaming?
He
He
was
was just
screaming like just tons and tons of expletives. It was like a 6'3", 350 pound, sweaty, greasy, bald white
my
guy
God.
doing this, like going, like just rocking back and forth. Just like I was like, of
Imagine
course this is happening right now.
I imagine this guy probably doesn't have a mask on.
No mask, of
Yeah,
course. You
of
know, you
course
know
not.
he's not wearing a mask.
Yeah, no way.
And like I think what lightened the mood was I think there was like two like fucking inner city high schoolers like we were once upon a time just laughing at
Right.
the guy.
Oh
It's like
my
I know mental illness.
gosh.
The guy was obviously mentally ill and shit, but at the end of the day, we all worked hard all day, and this guy just came on the
Yeah.
train and fucking killed everybody's buzz.
Reminds me of that. You remember that video where the dude just started screaming, "Police!
Oh
Police!
yeah, I
Help!"
wish I would have settled for that.
I'm saying maybe someone like maybe you might have been the one to yell for police.
Yeah, no.
Oh gosh, man, what a disaster. Damn, well, I'm
Uh,
glad you made it home, bro. In one
yeah,
piece.
finally. Yeah. Um, yeah, we can talk about that. So I explained it to you. I had to have somebody else explain it to me a while back what a red pill podcast is, which
Yeah,
is
because I
what I
didn't
think
know.
a lot of a lot of women these days referred to on those red pill podcasts as females. Notice
Mhm.
anytime somebody's getting female in itself isn't a misogynistic term to me, but
Right.
anytime a dude is like females, it's never anything good, you know?
Never.
So like but anyways, a red pill podcast, like I say, it's basically like you got the red pill, you got the blue pill. Red pill, it's like this secret to life basically.
Hmm.
And it's usually African American guys, ages 25 to could be 55. Like Kevin Samuels is definitely older. You know who Kevin Samuels is
I've
at this
seen
point,
his
right?
videos.
I
Yeah,
remember
yeah.
bringing him up to you like months ago and you didn't know.
Yeah.
Lucky you,
You
you didn't know
introduced
who
me
he
to
was.
him.
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't introduce him to Jay like, oh, this guy's great. It's like, this guy fucking sucks.
Right,
Uh,
yes. I can
and there's a
confirm
bunch
that.
of them. And basically, it's like, oh, here's the secret to life. Here's, young man, here's how you can succeed. Here's how you can find love or find multiple women to be your partner and whatnot. It's always heavily, heavily misogynistic. I don't find much. And we talked about this. Who was talking? Bill Burr. Bill Burr on his podcast once, not a Red Pill podcast, talked
Shout
about.
out.
He was like anybody who like their job or they act like it's their job to give advice, like a life consultant shit. Usually they're just a douchebag, and usually it's like
I
you're not
agree.
actually you're the least qualified person.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a fact.
anyways, we've been seeing like I've been seeing lately the memes just shoot up of like, oh, podcasting is like the OnlyFans for men. Like that's what they
Yeah.
do. And oh, like just coming to podcasting and shit. And I think at this point, people think that podcasting is just those podcasts because that's all they
Yeah.
see. Though that's what's popular right now.
At least our
Even
generation, that's what they think.
our
Like people our
generation and
age.
the people are we went to high school with, and
Right.
you know, people
Yeah.
people in our friend groups and shit. Like
Hmm.
that's what they see podcasts as. And
Yeah.
I mentioned Kevin Samuels. I'm not going to mention any others by name just because I don't want people to look them up and whatnot. But like I said, I've always been heavily against it, even when it was not, even when it wasn't cool to be coming at these people and people would try to reason, oh, well, he does make good points. It's like, no, at the end of the day, it was always like
Yeah.
women, you serve the man and shit like that. And it's just stupid
Yeah.
Neanderthal, fucking old school thinking.
Right.
Um, that like I don't know why a woman would waste her time with a dude who is going by that playbook. That being said, yeah, like can we just set the record straight? Like you want to talk about like what our podcast is really and like how
Right.
long we've been actually into podcasts and whatnot.
Yeah, bro. Nah, we definitely gotta set the record straight because I mean, like you said, there's this misconstructed idea now that every if guys have a podcast, they're shitting on women. I remember what's it called? Those two dudes, bro. They're fucking losers. I forgot their names, but it was like those two academics, and then Brittany Reiner was on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That
Who
and I
it's
know that Jay, like I said,
yeah,
I know who you're talking about. I'm not going to mention them by name.
yeah. I
I'm
don't
not
even
going to mention the name of their podcast.
yeah, no, fuck those guys. But they had Brittany Reiner on, and they made her look like a fucking saint and a genius. Which, if you know her history, that's like pretty
Right.
hard to
As
do.
covered on this podcast.
Yeah, but that shit's annoying, bro, because it's like that's the type of shit that be going viral, and people like their attention goes to those losers, like the
And it's supposed to
stupidity.
be advice for men, or
Right.
Kevin Samuels will give advice to women. But the only people watching them
Are men.
are men who want to see women get shitted on. And it's
Yeah.
always some stupid late no obviously this is like the 1% of women who are like super like stupid and just want to go on Kevin Samuels to get famous and whatnot so he
Right.
can shit on them. Like, oh, you
Yeah.
want
If
this
you're a
and
woman
that?
and you're going on that show, bro, what the like? What are you doing?
It's self-degrading. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
I want this guy with this and that, and he's like, and Kevin Samuels is always like, you're fat, you're ugly, um,
Thanks for
you're a
coming on.
loser. You better learn how to clean toilets or else you'll never. That's basically like all of his
Bro.
advice to women, and men will be like, she's so stupid. He got her ass, and I'm like, all right, but So you're proving my point that this isn't really for women. This is for men to watch women get shitted on, and it is disgusting. And
Yeah.
like we're saying, that's not why we got into podcasting. That's not what we talk about at all.
Right.
So like don't generalize podcasts because a small sector of it, which is barely podcasting. I guess technically it is, but it's not like they're fucking on Spotify or anything like first. Like these are YouTube shows first.
Yeah,
Like you watch this
facts.
shit on YouTube.
Facts.
You and I got made fun of in high school for listening to podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, you're
When
not
did we
listening to
start?
music, you're not watching YouTube. We're listening to Bill Simmons, Joe House do their NBA preview and
Yo.
whatnot. We're 16 years
Oh
old.
man. That's crazy. We was really on that shit before. Sometimes I wish we had just like
Started
it clicked
earlier.
for us, like, yo, let's just get a mic and our
Yeah,
go to Boston Public Library and start that shit. Imagine.
right.
But yeah, bro, we was fucking with this podcast shit for a while, like as far as like actually
Yeah,
listening,
you
tapping
really
in. It's
hipped me.
crazy.
You really
Yeah,
hit
cause
me.
well, shout out to Stone. I hope he listens to the show. But Daniel Stone, our what is sociology? What history? I forgot. I
Um,
forgot what the class even was. Social
fuck.
studies,
Yeah, it was a form of social studies.
some shit like that. But yeah, shout out Stone. If you're from Cathedral and Stone's goaded. But he's the one who put me on to Bill Simmons, and then from there, like I was like, oh shit, podcast. And I like obviously me and you had that sports connection from the jumps. I was like, yo,
Right,
games, shit's
exactly.
low key kind of lit. But yeah, man, just like people, male. Now I'm about to say male or female, and it's gonna sound like I'm insulting everyone.
Yeah.
Guys, girls out there, everyone, like, don't let the shit you see on Twitter that goes viral of some two idiots going at some OnlyFans thought, like
Exactly.
that's not what.
It's such low hanging fruit.
Yeah, that's
And
not
it's
what
like,
guys do this shit for. Especially at least us. That's not what
right.
why we're doing this. Go
Yeah.
ahead. You
No,
was gonna
like
say something?
just basically, yeah. It's like, oh, look at, but she is stupid, right? It's like, yeah, this girl seems kind of not intelligent, but why are you watching this?
And those guys are just
What is
insecure, right?
exactly? What's the point of you watching this right now?
Yeah. It's
You don't
like to
care
make
about this
yourself feel
girl at
better.
all. You
Right.
literally just hate women. That's why you were watching this. Some
Yeah.
girl told you when you were 12 she don't fuck with you or you're ugly, and
Yep.
ever since then, like your goal and you see you to make yourself feel better, you see women as less than.
Yeah.
And that's not how this works. That's not how life works. That's not how being a good human being works.
Yeah. 100%. But honestly, bro, I just like those because you was mentioning like the females that be hopping on the shows just to get the attention of these guys who, they just be saying whatever. Like let those goofy crowds attract each other. Like that's not gonna stop our shit. And hopefully, like our listeners, and if we find any new listeners, like y'all understand that's not what the type of town
And
we're
this isn't
on.
something we've been accused of personally. I just
Right.
saw like I'm
Yeah.
seeing a lot of like podcasts in general. It's
That's the
like
thing.
me.
Yeah.
It's like it's I don't know. It's like there's a million genres of podcasting, just like there's a million genres of television.
It's like it
Like you're
sucks
lumping
because
everything in together. You can't do that.
right. No, it sucks. And I think this is it's a good reason. It's like good that we brought it up on the show because for people who never seen us, like obviously don't like we got
Exactly.
our homies who know us, know what we're about,
Right. Exactly.
people in our lives and shit. But like the new listeners that we're trying to attract, which is really how you grow this shit. Like if they have this idea that if there's two guys on a podcast, at least in one episode, they're saying something bad about women, like that's kind
Yeah.
of the issue, the real issue here that we're trying to we're trying to prevent as far as
Exactly.
trying to grow our shit. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And I get some of the critiques of podcasting. It's like, why do you have to record your conversation so that everybody can hear it? Why can't you just talk to each other? It is a
right.
bit egotistical when you think about it. But at the end of the day, like I
We all have
enjoy having an
egos.
excuse to come on here and talk to you every week.
Yeah,
We're
exactly.
we're not always going to be hanging out together. It's not the 1990s where like I'm going to give you a phone call. The Chuck Closer. I don't know if you listen to that. We're not
What he
giving each other
said.
phone calls and shit. Like this isn't the 90s. Like
Right.
where we'll text, but this is it for the
That's
week
how we.
and
Yeah.
whatnot, you know. And it's something that could lead into something else,
Exactly.
potentially,
Yeah.
and yeah, like that's I just it's a harmless hobby that people can build skills, and I'm happy people it's getting more popular. We made a podcast, and then around that time, a lot of other people started making a podcast. I'm not just saying that because they're following us and whatnot, but like a couple people who were like you, start doing something, and you realize you can do it too, and there's
Yeah,
nothing wrong with that.
nothing wrong. Yeah,
It's
I'm
a
glad you
healthy
mentioned
hobby,
that. I'm glad you mentioned that because I hate when people be like,
gatekeeping
"Oh,
and shit
yeah, you're gatekeeping or you're just copying." It's like, bro, we live in a world where like most most good ideas come
have been
from
done.
like another good idea that someone else had. Like
Right.
we're not
Simpsons
just
did it.
yeah, evolution, bro. Like people like we
Yeah.
learn from each other. That's how we grow and shit. So like, oh, I started the podcast. Why is everyone else doing it? It's like, bro, that's not what this is about. Like, you know, I feel as if sometimes we forget like we're literally all like sharing the same planet. So,
Exactly.
but yeah, man, I had one other thought. I forgot what I was gonna say, but yeah, this
Maybe you'll come
is
back to it. Think about it real quick. If you can't
mhm,
think about it, whatever, we'll get to Clevis. But
yeah,
while you think, let me just do a housekeeping item real quick before I forget.
okay.
So, as we've always planned, the Super Bowl, the NFL season, or the Tom Brady. No, it started with the NFL season. Basically, all the way to the Super Bowl was going to be season 3 of the Richie and Mecco Connection. If you remember, season 1 ended after 10 episodes. We're about like 25 episodes in, I'm not sure, of season 3. It
Mhm.
will end with the Super Bowl. Um, so Monday we'll probably record day after the Super Bowl, talk about the Super Bowl, talk about football and whatever else is in the news.
Yeah.
Um, Later that week we'll probably record. We're planning an all-time NBA draft for the Hoop Chat podcast. Please
Big
go
man.
subscribe to the Hoop Chat. Big man, can't get enough of them. I need a point guard.
I might have to rewatch that before we
Yeah,
do
it's
that
a
shit.
rast. That's a yearly rewatch.
Facts,
But we're gonna
facts.
do an all-time NBA draft, basically just like they did on TNT way back in the day, which was a lot of fun. YouTube that it's fun. But yeah, subscribe to the Hoop Chat because we're gonna do the all-time NBA draft on that, not this podcast. This podcast season 3 will be ending this coming Monday. We'll probably drop Tuesday.
Heavy
Uh,
season.
yes, in the Hoop Chat, we just did Saturday night. We recorded it, and it dropped
Yeah.
like the next day. We recorded top 10 small forwards of the 21st century. Go check that out and subscribe to the Hoop Chat so you can hear. It's going to be a blast. The all-time NBA draft. We're going to have multiple guests on that.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Quite a
great.
few guys are going to drop by. And yeah, so after Monday's episode, we're probably gonna go on a week hiatus, 10 day hiatus, 10 weeks. Imagine.
All-star break.
Oh yeah, we're gonna take a look. We're gonna cleanse our palate. We're gonna let the juices flow. Maybe this podcast will return as a Red Pill podcast. Ladies, if you want a guy who makes 7 figures, you better know how to clean that toilet. That's basically every Red Pill podcast. Uh,
Literally.
but no, yeah, we're gonna take a break, so we'll miss you guys, and yeah, tune into the season finale on Monday, and
Yes.
thanks for listening. But
Please do. I remember what I was gonna say now. So I
great,
was gonna
great,
mention
it worked.
it was kind of like a yeah, it did work. That was great. It was like kind of like a two-parter because you had mentioned like egos and shit, and I was like I was just thinking like low key, bro, we all have egos
We
at
all
the
have
end of the
egos, yeah.
day. Like, and when we say like us doing this podcast, obviously we're doing it because I remember you texted me first, man. This is like it's one of my favorite messages from you, as corny as that sounds. But you
I
was
think
like,
I text you. I think you're cute.
yeah, he was like, you cutie Jay, cutie pie Jay. Nah, but you had texted me like when we was first about to start this shit. You was like, worst case scenario, this is like a fun hobby. Best case scenario, like this shit could take you far. And that was like kind of like right after you had told me that, I was like, yo, man, that's really how we should just approach this shit. Like this is a fun experience for us just to hop on, talk about what our thoughts are. And like, you know, if nothing comes from this, whatever, like it's two pals
It's no,
chatting on
it's
a
just
show.
something's already come from this. Like this has been
But
so fun.
yeah, I should say though that we have definitely
Yeah,
grown this a lot. But I'm
exactly.
just saying, like big picture,
Uh huh.
like we're cool with us
We don't
just
make money off
talking.
of it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're not
right.
like so determined. Like our main purpose is for us to grow. Like
Yeah,
our main purpose is actually just have good
right.
conversation, and from that, like the work will work. The work will speak for itself. But
I mean, hey, we had Tom
yeah,
Brady on
man,
last week.
right? I mean,
Can't get much
y'all
bigger
see
than
the
that.
guests we're getting.
Tom
Come on
Brady
now.
last week. We're slated to have James Harden sometime in the coming days.
I
Uh,
cannot wait to speak to James.
yeah.
It's gonna be fun.
I think he might have some choice words for you after your rant on the Hoop Chat.
I'm ready for it, Harden. If you're listening, bring it on, bro. I'm ready for you,
It's probably
man.
gonna be James the Harden this time. But hey, while we're on the topic of basketball and James Harden, let's transition and bring in Clevis.
Great.
We are back, joining Jeremiah and myself once again, returning from his excellent appearance, first time appearance on the Richie and Mecco Connection. It is from the Buffalo News. Clevis Murray. He's here to talk some NBA trade deadline with us. The trade deadline ended today, and we thought, yesterday it felt like nothing super major was going to happen. And then the bombs started flying around this afternoon, around 12 o'clock today, I think. And
Shams bombs. Shams was the winner today, it seems.
oh, did you see the I sent you that picture of Shams. They have Shams photoshopped onto Allen Iverson's body, stepping over Lou, and they have
Yeah.
Woj photoshopped onto Lou's body.
Disrespectful. Oh my
Bro,
God.
every tweet Woj tweeted out. If you go into the replies, Shams Shams owns you. Shams owns you.
Yo,
Like
That
people were
shows you
just
how the internet is. People are just crazy.
yeah, dude.
crazy,
People
bro.
are just like, I
Trolls.
was like, why is it such a competition? Because I did see, I feel like Shams, one of them would get a story out first,
Mhm.
and then the other person, whoever was later, would have
More details.
more details.
Yeah, that's the toughest part. It's like you can be the first to say like, oh, they're nearing an agreement, but then another guy could be like, they've already agreed.
Exactly.
The
Yeah.
wording,
Right.
like wording makes everything.
It looked like,
Facts.
at least with the Haliburton, what trade was Jeremy Lamb involved in? Was it the
With
Haliburton trade?
Haliburton.
He
I
Yeah.
was,
think it was
Woj was
Haliburton.
like, I got to get this out first because there was like 3 typos in it. He said Jeremy Lamb twice.
I've seen that. Yeah.
He misspelled like an easy word, like
I
way
think
off.
even Woj and Sams are getting influenced by this Twitter troll culture now, where it's like, who's first? Who's first? Now Woj is in
Exactly.
his own head.
Right.
Even I don't even like this culture in general, bro. Where it's like, even when you're watching the NBA draft, like there's no point of the NBA draft being on TV no more. Because Woj and Shams is already tweeting the picks like
Right.
2 minutes before the
Yeah.
draft.
It's not fun unless you want to tune
It's a
that
little,
out,
yeah, it's a little out of control. Yeah, which you can, but it's like, damn, do I really like it takes that much just to enjoy a draft? Like I have to just turn my phone off.
Right.
Is what it is though.
But obviously today the big news is James Harden
Oof.
going to Philly and Ben Simmons finally leaving Philly and going to Brooklyn. And I never thought, beginning of the year, guys, we're talking. I'm sure we've all had these conversations multiple times. Who's going to pick up a basketball first? This year, Ben Simmons or Kyrie Irving? And now they're on the same team, and they're going to be passing the ball to each other.
Yeah.
Who would have thought? I
Part
didn't.
time.
I didn't. I never in a million years thought they would be teammates, and probably making a playoff push later this year, unless who knows what happens with those two. But please, give me your thoughts. If anybody has, I'll pull it up in front of me, like the full trade.
Yeah, I got it.
You have to
here.
break down
think-
who won this trade and everything.
I think it was Harden and Millsap for Simmons, Curry, Drummond, and 2 first-round picks. I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
the full trade.
That's exactly
Yeah.
Yep. Simmons, it's Curry, Drummond, 2 unprotected first round picks for 2022, 2027. Philly went all in for Harden, bro. They went all in.
And here's my thought about that is it's tough because bigs are tough because you have Embiid, you have a prime Embiid, anything can happen, so you got to go all in. But I was of the belief like it reminds me of Carmelo Anthony back then, and it reminds me of Anthony Davis with the Lakers, right? It's like they're going to sign with you. Is there really a point of giving up assets? Now, what I will say with the Sixers is that although I didn't really like them giving up Drummond, because to me Drummond is still an all-star, not an all-star caliber player, but he's not a bench player. He's not a bench player. I don't know
He's a
why
rotation guy. Yeah.
I think he's still a starter. I think he can still average 15 and 15. I think he could still do that. But I will say for the Sixers to give up what they gave up, and you keep Thibault and you keep Maxey, it's like, is it really that bad? Now, they may regret giving up that 2027 pick, but you're going all in. And I think another point about the Sixers, them going all in, is the risk that they're taking with Harden and his contract. Because he opted in $47 million next year, and then after that, he's probably going to resign, where he become the first $60 million player. And it's like, Bobby Marks, who I don't know if you guys follow him, and he's a
Yeah.
former front office executive, but he's making it. And I was talking to people about this before, where like the James Harden, Russell Westbrook, John Wall, they may be the reason why the Supermax may be gone, because now we're seeing you give it to them in their
Yeah.
prime,
Yeah.
but then as they get older, it becomes a very bad contract. It
It's
reminds me
the
when the NBA used to
criticism
have
of
like
baseball.
7-10 year contracts.
It's a criticism of long baseball contracts. It's like, why are you giving this guy a 10-year contract? He's not going to be the same guy in 10 years.
Exactly.
Right.
And now basketball, it's like, where you're giving them too big of a contract, like too much. So,
Right.
But no, I think it was a good. I think as of right now, I think it's a fair trade for both. I think it made sense for both parties. Also made sense for Katie not to pick Harden to be on his All-Star team.
Yeah, I was just
That
looking
was
at that
so
shit.
funny. That was
Oh
so
my
funny.
God. He said this dude had Karl Anthony Towns and Embiid already on his team talking about, I need size to protect him.
I was thinking the same thing. I was
I'm like,
what?
really? Okay.
Mind you, he's 7 feet himself.
LeBron just has the clipboard up in front of his face.
I love that
cackling.
Chuck brought attention to it. Like, he was like, "Yo,
I love Chuck.
You're not gonna pick him." And then they put Katie in a tough spot. Like, you can pick Rudy Gobert or James Harden.
Yeah, that's crazy, bro. Damn. So, all right, who is this more of a risk for, y'all think?
Oh, I think the Sixers long term.
Yes, absolutely.
I
Absolutely. I think it's a weird trade because I think first glance, I'm like, oh, the Nets fleeced them. The Nets roster just got so much better.
Yep.
And James Harden's such a question mark at this point in his career. However, I wasn't factoring in the fact that Ben Simmons, they're dealing with the weirdest situation with Ben Simmons just not playing basketball. So you're basically getting rid of, Ben Simmons is basically taking up time, cap on your team and whatnot. And it's basically Seth Curry and Drummond in the picks for James Harden.
Yeah.
It's basically the trade. And I mean, we'll see, dude. I don't trust Harden.
Ooh.
No way.
I don't.
No way. This is the second team he's quit on in back-to-back years.
In
Have
like
you
in
always
like
had
less
this
than
thought on Harden,
less
or
than
is it
2 calendar
recently?
years. What's up?
Have you always had this thought on Harden, or is it like because of his Nets tenure, or how the way?
Oh
Or the way
no,
he
I
ended
was
at
I was
Houston?
all I was never a big fan, Just of the
Yeah.
play style, and at first it was the play style,
Okay,
and then it's
yeah.
like you're disappearing year after year when it matters most. And then last year he got hurt, and it's weird. And I'm gonna look stupid. This is gonna sound stupid coming out of my mouth after the first couple weeks, because it's gonna look great. He's gonna be a team player in Philly, just like he was a team player in Brooklyn when he first showed up. But eventually, first of all, if he wanted out of Brooklyn because of all the bullshit with Kyrie, I kind of get it. But like, you knew what you were getting into. Kyrie didn't just start being crazy like last year. Like, he's been crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't trust Harden, because you don't know what Harden you're getting. People just are gonna go glass half full and say, "Oh, we're getting fucking MVP James Harden, or we're getting the playmaking James Harden, who looked really good last year in Brooklyn before the injury." But who knows? Who knows how he's gonna gel with Embiid and Rivers? Like, it's got a soap opera written all over it already.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah.
think with Harden and Embiid, it's funny because like that's a duo where it's like people like you say like Kobe and Shaq, but like you get what I'm saying, where it's like you have one of the best perimeter players and one of the best. Like I feel like when people say Kobe and Shaq, like best perimeter player, best big, it's kind of like we'll be without Harden and Howard we're gonna be, a few years back. But
Yeah.
you have a prime Embiid. I don't even think Harden needs to even play like he did in Houston for them to even be like, if Harden plays like he did in Brooklyn, just shoot a little bit better, solid. No one is asking to average 35. You can be in that 25 to 26 range, be more efficient. But as for the trade, like I agree. Like I thought at first I was like, man, the Nets fleeced them. Like, oh my gosh, it's a steal. But then we think about it, like, where's the mental state of Ben Simmons? Because it seems like he's going through some real life stuff. One, because he has therapy. Two, he was willing to get fined $20 million.
Right.
So it's like clearly that he's going through something that we don't need to, I guess, really know what he's going through. And also too, I feel like with that Nets team, like, yeah, I think first of all, what crazy, that's one of the biggest what ifs in NBA history again. Weirdly enough, it features Kevin Durant and James Harden, like the OKC Big Three. It's like
13-3 when they played together.
Craziness.
They were unstoppable, but that's the problem. Yeah, for real.
This is what we were 50% sure was going to happen when they all joined together.
Yeah.
And it's going to be the same in Philly because Embiid
Ooh.
himself, knock on wood, he's a guy I really hope never gets hurt again. I
Mhm.
love Embiid, but he's a guy who's injury prone. And
So is he? So I've had. Is he injury prone? Because to me, he's only really been hurt those first 2 years he missed.
That's
I
fair.
just never saw him play a full 82
Oh,
or a 75, you know? Maybe don't
Yeah.
call it injury prone.
but he
Something
has to
always
miss a
comes
few
up.
games. Yeah. Okay,
Something
that's
always
fair.
comes up. Maybe he's super motivated this year, is in shape, and he's gonna get lucky and not deal with. Also, it's hard being that size.
Yeah,
But
exactly, Gabe.
not only Embiid, but also Harden at this point in his career. He's dealing with the longest hamstring injury of all time,
Yeah.
and we don't know about him. But it's gonna look really good at times. I agree with you
Yeah.
guys. It's gonna look really good at times.
Are they
But
both title contenders?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes, because the East
you
is so
gotta
wide
think
open
about it.
this year.
if
That's why.
Durant is healthy and Kyrie,
Even with a part-time
the
Kyrie,
fucking part-time Kyrie kills me, man. It kills me.
Yeah.
Obviously, I would say yes if Kyrie was full-time.
Right.
That's another guy you just never know, right? Like both
yeah,
of these teams are like you never know. That's why the Bucks, even though they're looking shaky at times, it's like the Bucks.
nice get with Serge Ibaka.
They've been there. Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
agree. They've been there,
DiVincenzo out.
and they're not like Giannis is the Terminator. We watched Giannis get his season-ending injury last year, and he was
Atlanta.
walking back out of the tunnel 2 minutes later.
That shit made no sense, bro. His knee literally went inwards.
Yeah,
He's on the
Yeah,
ground rolling. You
and then he
blink and
went
he's
he
back
went in the
on.
championship
back
after.
and regenerated and
Yeah.
came back out. Like that's why they're the
Crazy,
safest
man.
bet. And yeah, both these teams at their peak are title contenders, but I don't know like when do you actually reach that peak with these situations?
It's
Yeah.
tough, yeah. If you're looking at it from Philly's perspective and Daryl Morey, who's just, I swear, I was texting you this to you, Gabe. Daryl Morey, I swear he's so horny for Harden, bro.
Yeah,
I don't know what type of relationship they built in Houston, but he, like, bro,
Oh
this dude
my.
is in love with Harden. But if you're in Philly and you're Morey, I kind of get it because you know you're holding on to Simmons, and then you finally the opportunity comes, like the patient pays off. Being patient pays off. Like the situation
right.
arises, Harden blows it up. That's kind of why you were holding on to Simmons because he was saying he was like, I'll play this shit out 4 years until he gets a because Maury's thing is I need to get a
Can't
top
believe you
20
said that
guy.
publicly either.
Yo,
Can't believe you
I
said
mean,
that.
he's had a record saying things publicly and not really
Yeah,
caring what the consequences is. But it kind of pays off for Philly as far as like just from the standpoint of you're getting a superstar in return for Ben Simmons, who's just not playing like you were mentioning, games. He's basically upgrading Seth Curry to James Harden. But man,
Steph
James
Curry, who was really
Harden,
good for them though.
Seth Curry was balling
He's a
this year,
legit role
bro.
player. Like he's a legit. I like the Nets got 2 starters.
Yeah, they
That's what I'm
really did.
saying. Yeah,
No, the Nets came up, bro. On this. I think the Nets won this trade if you're just like objectively saying like just
On
on off
paper,
rip on
yeah.
paper, yeah, on paper, like obviously we have to
yeah,
see how it plays out.
the Nets got better.
Yeah, but if you're Philly, bro, this is risky because Clevis, he was mentioning he opted into that to the 40
Player
whatever
option,
40
yeah.
player option 42 million, and he's eligible for 5 year 269 million. So I get that the Simmons situation, like you had said, Gabe earlier, is really unique, but man, Ben Simmons, 25 years old, slash another asset that they could have traded for who's around that age, versus Harden, who's what 32.
I was gonna
I
say like he's
mean,
probably like 32, 33 by now.
yeah, 32.
Dude, that's
That
not gonna. I don't. That's
contract,
not gonna age well, man. It's
it's
not
not
gonna
going to
age
age well.
well.
And he's not a player who's known for preserving his body and
Right.
being in
And just
shape,
the way
as
he
we've all
plays.
seen. Yeah. But I think if you're more, it's like, yo, I haven't beat this dude is dominant. I have to maximize this window of his prime, which
And
is, I
that's I'm
think, why he made the move. But
and the
Yeah.
Sixers understand that. You gotta take
Sucks
a
that it
risk.
has to go like that though.
it's
Huh?
it's tough. Yeah.
Wait, what'd you
I
say,
don't
Gabe?
know.
Well, it sucks that the way he maximizes his prime is like he's getting the one star who
Worst
is
possible guy.
like the biggest question mark outside of like Kyrie Irving.
I mean, who else was
Facts.
there to get? I
That's
mean,
what I'm
there's
saying. I
yeah,
know. I know. Like he's
Yeah.
the only guy who's available, you know, where there's
yeah.
been other trade deadlines or there's been other free agencies where Kawhi Leonard and guys like that, Kevin Durant, like those guys are available, and it's like
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
you're gonna settle for James Harden. I
Now,
shouldn't say settle, but you're gonna get James Harden opposed to
was
somebody
it
with a
worth
brand.
Philly making this trade like for this season? Do you guys think they should have waited until the summer?
See, that's a good question
That's a
because
good question, yeah.
people say Harden, like the reports where Harden would have walked, and that's kind of why Brooklyn felt the urgency to make the trade because they're like, no, we can't lose this dude for nothing.
Right.
So it's tough, man. If you're Philly,
You
I
don't
guess
want to waste the year of Embiid. It's also waste
Yeah.
the year of Embiid versus wait till the summer knowing that we're gonna get this guy anyway.
yeah, and you can keep all the assets. Because I was looking at this, I wanted to share this with y'all. Phillies for the next, we're in
Oh,
2022.
is this their salary room? I don't even
No,
wanna
it
hear
was the draft picks that they're owed or who they owe the
Oh,
draft picks
okay.
to. So 2022, obviously, both of those are going to Brooklyn. They have their own in 2024. 2025, 2026, and 2027 is to OKC. Then 2028 is to Brooklyn. First rounders. So that's what, 6 years that you just have no
And what's
draft
Harden going to look like
equity.
in 2028?
right. And what's Embiid gonna
And what's
look like?
Embiid
A
gonna look
guy
like?
Embiid
who's
probably not even
Doesn't-
on the roster by
7'3".
We're saying
Big.
title contenders. We're saying title
risk.
contenders. Won't you feel like you're in bizarro world if Doc Rivers, James Harden, and Embiid are holding up the fucking Larry O'Brien trophy at the end of the year?
I can't even picture that.
Can you
shit.
picture that? I can't.
can't.
That would be funny.
I
This
like
shit for
Doc
me
Rivers, the human being, but it's been
should
a
he be in
fucking
top 15 all
mess.
time?
That's a good question. We should talk about
Oh,
that.
yeah,
we should
that
talk
was like
about
a
that.
Underrated little NBA.
Thank you for
news
bringing that
came
up. We
out.
didn't bring
Yeah.
that. That's not talked about enough. Uh, do we talk about that now or do we hold it?
Yeah, we could real quick. we
Well,
could
I'll
talk
say
about it.
this real quick. I think the Sixers championship window is 2 to 3 years
Yes, I'd
Sure.
agree.
because the
Sure,
minute
yeah.
Embiid starts declining, or he hasn't been hurt, but if he gets a major injury, you just don't know. So I think they're literally in win now mode. But yeah, we can
Yes.
talk about the head coaching thing
But
because
let's wrap up. We can wrap up this
Cool.
this Harden, this Nets thing real quick because I wrote this down earlier. This is basically the Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving era in Brooklyn, where in 2020 you got, KD's hurt.
Right.
You got Jared Allen on the team. You got Dinwiddie and you got LeVert. That
Jared
turns into
Allen.
Harden in 2021, basically. Like I'm missing a few details, but this is the bulk of what's going
Big
on.
picture
Here.
shit. Yeah.
And now it's Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, and picks. So you basically went from Jared Allen, Dinwiddie, and LeVert 2 years ago, and now that's become Ben Simmons and Seth Curry.
So the thing is, all right.
I feel like they broke even.
Yeah, I was gonna say I feel as if they kind of evened it out. What type of Ben Simmons do y'all think Brooklyn's gonna get? We know we're gonna get a good player in Curry who's gonna play in the playoffs. He's gonna
This
play
is
in
the
crunch
best-
time.
Yeah.
But Ben Simmons, this
Yeah.
is an X factor because if he's all defensive first team Ben Simmons, defensive player of the year,
Right.
fast break maniac,
be
up
their
and down the
Draymond.
court, looking like LeBron at times. If he's that Ben Simmons and he's kind of protected by, Papa KD's like, hey, don't worry about this noise, bro. If we get that Ben Simmons, Brooklyn could be dangerous.
He's
But
not number one.
This
So here's
dude
my
hasn't
thing about
played
Ben.
ball.
Go
ahead, Clevis.
Go ahead,
Here's
Clevis.
my thing about Ben. I think Ben is like defensively, I think he's fine. I think it's just like mentally and offensively, you got to figure it out. But
I feel like it's less pressure though when you're playing with Kyrie and KD halftime.
he went
Kyrie,
from
but
Philadelphia to New York. I think the pressure just got even, especially now that we know what he's going through.
Interesting.
I feel like it just
Yeah.
got worse. Like, I
as
feel
far as like just being in the spotlight and shit.
exactly, I think it got worse.
I think
Brooklyn, New York. Yeah.
But I'm saying
This
like
isn't-
from just a basketball on the court, I think like if you have Durant and Kyrie on the floor, if you're Ben Simmons, like, yo, you don't got to do much, bro. You could give us 4 points a game. We're good. Just play.
Right.
it's true. Just
Great
pass the ball.
defense.
And he's around
Because he's one of the
shooters.
best at those, at the
He's so good
defense
at
and all
that
the little
shit, bro.
and setting guys
Yeah.
up and shit. Like, this is the
Like-
second best place I would send him besides Golden State, where it's like you say,
Good
Jay.
point.
He doesn't
Yeah.
have to be. The pressure isn't there anymore. He doesn't have to be. The last shot, it's coming to you. We need you. We need you to do something at the end of the game. That's not his job anymore. That's
Right.
Kyrie's
Good point.
job. That's
That's still-
KD's job.
That's
Now
a
you
good
got
point.
Ben Simmons.
He'll get you double-digit points regardless.
Yeah, he'll get you 10.
A really qualified third best player on a title contender.
Who, by the way, is 25 years old. It's
Exactly.
like,
Crazy. Yeah, it's a
yes.
crazy
And
point.
then you're adding Seth Curry to the end of all this, who is not a star, not an all-star ever,
But a hell of a
but a
good role
very,
player.
very good, a high-tier role player.
yeah.
Also, who
100%.
could do something for a contender.
And they
Yeah, I
kept
agree.
Patty Mills in this, which was crazy because I think Philly was
Oh,
trying to ask for
yeah.
Patty Mills, but Brooklyn was able to keep him. A little underrated
Same.
nugget, like keeping
Yeah.
Patty Mills, Seth, just all that shooting. Like if you're Ben
Joe
Simmons,
Harris.
Joe Harris, if he's coming back, there's some spooky news coming with him, but hopefully that can work out because Joe needs to make up for what he did in the playoffs.
Well, that's my point. I forgot to mention that Seth Curry is going to make the shots that Joe Harris missed in the playoffs last year in those very close Milwaukee games.
And Seth can also create his own shot.
You're right. Yeah. This is you're swapping out Harris for Seth. That's a huge win for the Nets.
Patty Mills and Seth,
that's a deadly backcourt. Yeah, facts. And then you have KD and Kyrie. But so I was gonna say, so with Ben Simmons, obviously basketball wise, I think this is a really good fit for him. Yeah, because you had mentioned pressure, and I think this is kind of the risky part with him because this is the same Ben Simmons, like we just praised him, gave him his flowers, but this is the same Ben Simmons who went missing, just completely ghost in the playoffs last year, was scared to dunk on Trae Young. So, are those issues just going to magically go away now that he's in Brooklyn? Because you're playing with a Durant, that's kind of a risk too if you're looking at this from the Nets perspective.
Yeah, I don't think they'll go away, but I think he's more aware of, of things he's been through. And here's the thing with Ben Simmons as well.
I like that, yeah.
We have not spoken. No one has spoken to him. He's going to have to speak to the media now. He's going to have to speak. He's going to have a press conference. He knows he's getting these questions. He can prepare all he wants.
It's going to be interesting.
So I was joking with someone. I was like, it's about to be the most watched press conference of the season.
Oh, for
real. So it's how are you going to, what questions you're going to get. But also on the court is where you earn respect your name. I think that he'll be fine. I just think he's more aware now of the pressure. Now, but as you guys mentioned, though, he doesn't really need to score. It's Ben, if you don't want to score, you have the best scorer right there in Kevin Durant. You might have Kyrie Irving right there. You have a shooter here and there. It's Ben, if you're a walking mismatch, you're a 6'10" point guard. You're let's call it 6'10" Rondo.
Basically, yeah.
I mean, hook shot, just be in the paint because he doesn't need to worry anymore about having to take a jump shot. Because I don't think. Although I will say, I think Philly did construct the team as best they could around Ben and Embiid. But I think in Brooklyn it might be a little bit different just because they got shooters that you need to respect. So it's either you drive on, it's easier said than done, obviously.
Right.
But I think he's in a good situation, like you mentioned, because in Philly, he was the number 2, number 3. But then I think back to when they had Jimmy Butler, where Ben was shoot number 3, number 4, because he also had Tobias on that team. So I think back to that 18-19 Sixers team. Where that makes me curious still as to how Ben will fit. But also, too, when I say it out loud, the Sixers team almost made it to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Right.
While misses that shot.
I was going to say that, yeah. They're a couple points away.
Yeah, so it's tough. I think it's a good fit, but also I think just because of the people around him, he'll be fine. Because I think more so back to that 2019 Sixers team.
It's kind of the perfect trade when you think about it.
That was
Because it's there's just enough risk on both ends where you don't even know Harden might be worked in some strip club by the end of the season. And Simmons, we haven't seen him play since fucking last April or whatever. So there's risk there, but then when you look at the positive side of it, it's okay, you have Harden and Embiid, that low post perimeter combo. If Harden could get his shit together, could be crazy. Man. We already mentioned what Simmons could look like with Brooklyn. It's kind of the perfect trade.
When you say it out loud.
Yeah, it's definitely a bigger risk for Philly, in my opinion.
Because of cap reasons.
Because of cap reason, because of losing all your picks, and because we just watched Brooklyn. I know nobody was playing, but we just watched them start off 28-2 against the Celtics.
TNT was cut the feed.
They're they lost, lost 10 in a row, 9 in a row?
Did they 9 in a row counting. Did they lose tonight to Washington? I know they're playing.
They were. They lost. 10 losses. Yep.
10 losses in a row. Philly is.
No team has ever won a championship losing that many games in a row.
Yeah,
they could be the first. But.
Philly was looking good. Embiid is the MVP.
Credit to Philly staying afloat too. Without, it's just really Embiid and Tobias. So.
Right. I had Doc Rivers. Speaking of, we'll get into the coaches now. I guess I had him in my coach of the year. Definitely top 3, top 4, top 5. Yeah. He has to be mentioned.
He's a good
all
candidate,
of that shit going on. Ben Simmons was on his bullshit last year. Doc Rivers didn't let him off the hook. Ben Simmons didn't like that, and Rivers, he coached the guys that he had this year, and they did well.
I can't believe. Finish your point. Sorry.
No, that's it. I was just gonna say we can move on, but do you have anything else?
No, I was just gonna say, thinking back, Like I'm thinking back to Doc Rivers and Joe Embiid being so upfront and honest after that Game 7 loss, and then
About
being
Ben.
upfront and about Ben, and then the same
Yeah.
thing when the season started during training camp, and then not Ben, and then Embiid. I don't know if y'all seen the picture that he posted after the
Yes.
trade.
Yeah,
The
that
cat-
was wild.
Praying on my was
his dead body. Like,
Yeah.
get out of here, man. Get
at my
outta
ops
here.
funeral, bro. That was whack. And be such a troll on Twitter all time.
I'm like, yo, they really must not be
yeah, they was
like
not
just
rocking with him.
work colleagues that just gone wrong. Like I'm like,
Facts, yeah.
I can't wait to hear when Embiid gets asked, "Hey, what are your thoughts on the trade?" And see what he says.
It's gonna be interesting, yeah, man. Right, this is gonna be so. How long do you think until we see Simmons? Couple weeks, 2-3
Yeah, I
weeks.
say a couple weeks. I mean,
They play each other in Philly March 10th.
March 10th.
That's gonna be huge. Oh my god! By then,
That's
Durant should
gonna
be
test that
back.
therapist.
Facts.
I mean, I think
Oh man,
this is mid-February, so I think he'll be back by then. I mean,
he should be right.
I would be shocked if he's not ready by after the All-Star break.
That's what I would say. So I think post All-Star break, I think we start to see all these teams, these new look teams. Like I think that's when they start to tune the engine. Because we got to think, and I guess
CJ
move on
played
after
tonight
this.
for Pelicans.
Oh, really?
CJ's debuting tonight. I might catch that. But
He struggled. I think he won like 6 for 21.
Oh, they already played.
Yeah.
Damn. Now I was gonna say though, if you're Steve Nash, man, you don't have too much time to figure this out. Like KD's gonna be back March. You're having a part-time Kyrie. Kind of don't really know when Ben Simmons is back. So like if you're Brooklyn, on paper again, it looks great, but the same issues before. We got to get these dudes on the court and we got to build something before the playoffs.
No, you're right.
And then of course the cloud of Kyrie's vaccination status. That's just something.
Ben Simmons didn't get vaccinated until a few weeks ago.
Yeah, true. Wouldn't it be funny if Kyrie just out of spite to Harden? Did y'all see that Kyrie apparently was not fucking with Harden?
I seen that, and I'm like, well, I seen that he was open to the trade, and I'm like, I'm curious what's up. Like, I'm sure it's eventually there's gonna be like a lengthy report about what happened with this big, because again, this is on paper, offensively, the greatest assembly of players ever. Offensively,
crazy.
So it's like it's an epic failure, and it's like, what's their relationship like? Like, yes, you have the Kyrie situation, KD, Harden, like, you don't have to be like, no one's asking you to be friends, but it's like, damn, do you guys like each other? And then again, like, KD just added fuel to the fire, not picking Harden in the All-Star game, like something.
I love that shit.
That doesn't matter.
I love KD's pettiness, man.
And it didn't do anything for any of their legacies, in my opinion.
No,
KD, of course, had one of his greatest games ever last year in the playoffs, but like, he could have done that on any team in any situation. Like, we knew the eye test, I always say, with KD, like, he was going to be great regardless. This situation's done nothing for him. Yeah. And it's diminished the other two. It's diminished the other two.
I agree. Because I'm like, KD just hooped. Like, KD can't control that he got hurt. Like, you're right. Like, this is on Kyrie, this is on Harden. Like, KD is like, I tried. Like, it's not on me.
Like you said, bro, dude just loves to hoop. That's it.
Do you want to get into the coaches real quick?
Yes.
So
you have the list on you?
So your question is Doc Rivers one of the 15 best coaches of all time?
Yes, trending on Twitter for this.
He's 10th all time in wins, and he'll probably end with 8th. He'll only be behind Phil Jackson. Or Phil Jackson will be the guy in front of him who I don't think he's catching. So Doc right now has 1,024 wins all time. He's going to catch Rick Alderman, who has 1,042 wins all time, and Larry Brown, who has 1,098 wins all time. Phil Jackson has 1,155. I feel like Doc would have to have like 3 more really good seasons, which who knows? He's been coaching a long time. Just don't. Yeah, it could happen, but we'll see. Otherwise, let's take a look at the list real quick. The guys who immediately come to mind without even looking at the list, who are automatically, when I think of the greatest coaches of all time, I think of, in no particular order really, I think of Popovich, I think of Pat Riley, I think of Red Auerbach. And now I'm thinking.
Pat Riley, Jerry Sloan.
Hold on. There's guys that need to be mentioned before Jerry Sloan. Phil Jackson. Phil Jackson's the other guy. Though that's basically my Mount Rushmore right there. You have Red, you have Phil Jackson, you have Pat Riley, and Popovich. Those are the 4 who are automatically in. And then you have like Chuck Daly, who coached the Dream Team and coached the Pistons back in the day. And then it's like, all right, well, let's look at who are the win leaders and whatnot.
They had
Ron Nelson
Stevens.
has the most wins all time, so he's has to be in there. Larry Brown has to be in there
Yes.
because he
Yeah.
won at all levels and shit. I know this is NBA history, but Brown's up there too in the all time wins list. Jerry Sloan coached forever. He's got to be in there. Steve Kerr. What do we think about Steve Kerr being
Okay.
I was
there?
just about to bring that up.
So here's my I had no like again, some of the coaches like we can tell because they're kind of from our era, and then some of them are like old school coaches,
Right.
like obviously before us.
Yeah.
But that last five on TNT Reveal where they had Kerr, Spo, Rivers, maybe there's a few other guys there that like the modern era coaches. Okay, here's what I'll say.
Mhm.
Doc Rivers, shout out to KG, shout out to Ray because they did that man a solid.
Oh,
Okay.
Because I'm like, no, I mean, I'm like, he's had a great career coaching wise. I think the Celtics helped him out a lot.
yeah,
Yeah.
And Doc is a great regular season coach. You know, you work with what you got.
right.
You know, I know people bring up like he has the most blown 3-1 leads from any coach, but like numbers never lie, right?
Yeah.
I'm like that one ring helped a lot. Steve Kerr, only because he doesn't have the longevity. I was a little iffy about because I'm like, I get it, 3 rings, 5 straight finals, like that's a legacy in itself, right? He could
Yeah,
retire
exactly. Like that's more than you could say about Chuck Daly.
most coaches.
Basically, you
Yeah,
know,
Right.
so
who's like
so
automatically on there.
yeah, so I get it with Kerr because I was like, oh man, because he just started coaching, but it's like if he retires right now, I mean, he's probably gonna be in the Hall of Fame.
Right.
And then
Yeah.
Eric Spoelstra was the one that was like,
Well
I
deserved.
would never well deserved. This is one I was like, oh, I never would have thought about that, but I'm like, you think about it, I'm like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
forget he coached those Heat teams
the
that won championship.
Heatles, yep. And then it's like, well, even post Heat, he's been a straight coach. Like,
Right.
you work coaching is hard because like you work.
My favorite coach.
Yeah. So I was like, and then I was talking to someone else where it's like, well, who would you put in? I was like, I mean, Rick Adelman's a good call.
Yeah.
I was like, does Rick Carlisle get any attention?
Carlisle.
Those
Forgot
are
about
2
him.
coaches. I was like,
Why is
George
Carlisle?
Karl?
Why Carlisle over like Rivers? I know Carlisle's loved, and I know
They're in the same boat, to be honest.
But Carlisle, like a lot of losing seasons.
I was thinking that
A
too.
lot of losing seasons after 2011.
And average
It was
seasons
ugly.
as well. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's the part you got me because I'm like, because after 2011, honestly, literally after 2011, the Mavs, yeah, were just an average team. I don't think they
Yeah.
ever made the conference finals again. George Karl was when I was thinking like, wow, I was kind of shocked with George
He's up there
Karl.
too. It's because he's in top 10 wins.
Yeah, and I was like, okay. And then also Rick Adelman, I thought we'd get now. Some people, I was thinking like, is there recency bias? But I'm like, I'll be honest, Spoelstra is the only one that I would kind of think of moving for a guy like George Karl, Rick Adelman. But that's tough. It's very tough. I don't think something like this you can't really go wrong. Again, I'm just thinking because
What about
Yeah.
Tommy Heinsohn?
what's his coaching resume?
2 NBA titles in the 1970s.
How long did he coach for?
He has an argument.
Not too long. Probably like 8 years.
Yeah, 'cause I was
You
thinking-
also Bill Russell, player
I was gonna bring up
coach,
Bill.
first black coach
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
Like he has a resume too. I think they're just sick of him putting him on lists.
Just on every grade.
He's just like the greatest at everything. So like they're just
Yeah.
sick of him. But
Yeah.
like he's somebody.
Damn.
That's quite the resume. How many of these guys played and coached at the same time here? I don't see any.
Oh,
Yo,
you're right.
honestly, I think I'd rather have Spoelstra than Kerr.
Okay.
I think
Yeah, Kerr.
Kerr obviously has the resume, but man, you had the
Wow.
greatest team of all time for 2 years. Kerr's obviously
And
a
the
great
greatest,
coach.
yeah, not
But I
just the
wanna
talent,
see, yeah, right, greatest shooter of all time, like 2 of the greatest.
but the
shooters,
greatest
1 and
teammate of
2.
our era. Like
Good
after
point.
Duncan, it's Curry.
Yeah.
And when you have somebody like that as
Facts.
your best player, that just keeps everything afloat. Like,
Yeah.
Now,
So I
let me
kind of
ask
want
you-
to see how Kerr does with this next chapter of the Warriors.
right.
That's
I wanna
like
see how
kind of
that
like with
plays out.
Spoelstra,
This
right?
year would lock it in for him.
True. Yeah.
So that's why I was curious. Is like we're like Kerr, he got lucked into a tremendous job. Like it's been nothing but success. I know they had that 1 year where they didn't make the playoffs,
Mhm.
but it's like I don't know. Like we see Spoelstra where like okay, after LeBron left, you're dealing with what you got, and I don't know. Just part of me, it's tough because again, 5 finals that cements you, but it's like I don't know. We haven't
Yes.
seen you coach
Like a normal team.
like a like a norm team. You're coaching literally the greatest team of all time. Like, I mean, but then again, I'm not trying to knock him because who wouldn't want that? Like, I mean,
I get what you're saying.
Like, you're not gonna blame Phil Jackson for coaching Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, right?
It's not his fault. Like, you get greatness.
Yeah, exactly. So it's
tough.
I'm not trying to knock him. I think for me, it's more so the longevity part. I think that's the part where I'm kind of iffy. But again, it's tough because again, five straight finals. Eric Spoelstra, 4 straight finals. But I will say you can't go wrong with this. I wonder why the league decided to do 15 instead of like 20 or 25. Because again, I think Rick Outeman should have been
15. Yeah, 15 is an interesting number.
Yeah.
Have there been more than 15? Like, oh my God, these coaches. Like, you know what I mean? Maybe 20. I feel you. Like, I feel
you're 20. You're right.
You put Russell on there. There's not a lot of
all-time.
And I've said this, Jay. We talk about this with football, where a football coach is more impactful.
Side note: Luka Doncic just finished with 51 points, 6 assists, 9 rebounds against the Mavs. He had 21 in the first quarter.
Wow. Yeah. I saw that. I saw that he had like 28 early.
He's looking like his old self, and we'll get to the Mavs too.
He always likes cooking the Clippers for some reason.
Yeah. What was I saying?
NFL
Sorry,
coaches.
you're talking about
NFL. Thank you.
Yeah.
NFL coaches. Definitely more important to a team than basketball coaches for me, just because NFL is a lot more X's and O's.
100%, yeah.
That being said, I've always said like coaches they're important. They're not as important as some people like to believe. So like I don't know, with all of the talent we've seen in NBA history, like how many great coaches have we seen?
That's a good point.
Like truly great coaches that got the most out of their players that their players weren't going to do regardless. Like, I'm looking at Casey Jones, and those Celtics teams were just amazing. Like, they coached themselves. Larry Bird himself says Bill Fitch, the guy before Casey Jones, is his favorite coach ever. He doesn't mention Casey Jones in the same breath. So, like, stuff like that, where I'm like, it's not the same as top 75 players where we got to mention all these guys.
Right.
To me, I feel like there was a gap. Like I said, there's those 4 coaches that I mentioned. And then there's everybody else to me.
Yeah, I agree.
No, I agree. I think, like you said, there's only again, if they did the list of 20, maybe 25 would be top max. Because like you're only adding so many more. Like for me, it would have been like, Rick Outeman, George Karl. You made a very good point about Rick Carlisle. I wonder because I know he's in Indiana before. So I wonder what his time in Indiana was like.
Yeah. Probably the same time Doc was in Orlando.
Yeah, something like that. But no, that's it. But yeah, you're right. Like I'm looking through a list right now. Yeah, it's 2025. But yeah, coaching is also subjective too, because like you said, in football, like there's a lot of moving parts. In basketball, it's like you just need the team. Because we like to praise teams where like the Grizzlies, for instance. Like honestly, I think Taylor Jenkins in Memphis, he's probably going to coach of the year because like
that's my pick.
Bang
that's my pick, bro.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I won't say I take someone off, but I just think some of the modern coaches I think just made me kind of raise an eyebrow a little bit. But talk about it out loud and see where it makes sense.
Yeah. Shout out to the coaches, man. But
it's not like top 75 where people are constantly debating.
I know.
Right? Yeah, it's not sexy.
What other moves did we have though?
Moves. All right, let me see.
We had some moves.
What would you say is the second
the
biggest?
Mavs get up on Porzingis.
That's good. Yeah. So I want to do Porzingis. Do you want to talk about that move?
Guys, talk about that. I'm gonna step out real quick. Keep it going. Keep it going.
Okay.
Just gotta grab my charger.
Yeah, no. Yep.
Cool.
No.
How do you feel about that,
like? Yeah. So with Porzingis, I was kind of. You've seen the writing on the wall because I think ever since Porzingis got traded to Dallas, he was good. But he wasn't like all-star good. He wasn't showing the flashes of like why people were comparing him to Dirk.
Yeah, he's not what they thought they were getting.
Exactly. And his shootout, look at his shooting numbers. Like he's averaging, like 18 and 8, but his shooting numbers have been, his 3-point shot has not been there.
Yeah.
And I know the Mavs need another ball handler with Luka. So when I'm looking at the roster and I'm looking at this, I think they wanted to dump Porzingis because I think he's on max contract.
Yeah.
So you dump him. I think it might be a good trade for the Wizards. You get in Porzingis, it's a last-ditch effort to try and keep Bradley Beal. And for them, you're getting this guy. It's like you have nothing to lose. But as for the Mavs, it's interesting because you're getting Spencer Dinwiddie, who to me, he was not liked in Washington.
Yeah, not at all.
Like, you need another ball handler. Is he the guy? He's struggled since coming back from that ACL injury, so hopefully he can get it back together. The Mavs, from my understanding, Jalen Brunson's out of their budget. but think weirder things can happen. And they
How-
got Davis Bertans, who ever since he got that contract hasn't been the same. So I'm curious.
Robbery, what he did.
Exactly. Literally, like contract year NBA players, like the funniest NBA players. All of a sudden, they have like the best years of their lives.
Right.
So I'm curious what the Mavs do now, because they did the right thing, a few years ago, getting Porzingis, because you need to get Luka a second number 2. But now I'm curious, knowing that Dallas isn't really a place that guys really sign. Like, how do you get that number 2 guy for Luka? Because they didn't really have the best reason to give Porzingis, So I'm like, do you go for free agency, hoping that just because of who Luka is, someone will come and sign with him? Or do you try and make a few trades? So I think there's a lot of questions there. But again, I think the trade kind of makes sense. I think that you could have kept Porzingis a little bit longer, especially if Spencer Dinwiddie is your backup plan. But it sucks it didn't work out. I think Porzingis tried his best, but he's not the guy that we thought he was or thought he could be.
I agree with you, but I think they should have held on to Porzingis a little bit longer because, the past month or so, Dallas has been on a roll. I know Porzingis has been in and out, but when he has played, he's actually been much better this season. The numbers are down, but I feel as if he's more happier in Dallas this year with Jason Kidd being there. It seemed like it was just more of a healthier environment for him. So it was kind of, I was a little bit shocked when I seen that trade go down. But like you said, I guess they were trying to get off that contract because he's owed 31 million this year, 33 million the next year, and 36 the year after for a guy who's basically 18-8. So, that's a tough number there. Dinwiddie, he's about 18 million for this year, next year. It's interesting because I'm trying to figure out what the Mavericks game plan is here, because you get Dinwiddie, you got the ball handler that everyone says Dallas needed.
They could have got Dragic in the buyout market,
which they might, which is still possible. They also sneaky extension to Finney Smith, 4 years, 52 million. And Finney Smith is a guy, if you watch Dallas games, he's guarding the other team's best player. He's knocking down. Yeah, he's a nice 3D, knows his role, plays it to a T. But if you're Dallas, man, I don't know, because the Porzingis experience has obviously failed. Dinwiddie's obviously, like you mentioned, he's not going to be the number 2 guy next to Luka, if you're planning to win a championship. So I don't know what Dallas's move is here. They've been playing better, but is this a championship team this year?
They might not even be a playoff team. I think what we're about to see is,
think they might slide.
I think they're going to slide 100%. I think, or, unless, Luka's going to play like he did tonight, putting up 51 points. I think this is going to unlock a version of Luka we have not seen. Because now he doesn't have to rely on Porzingis. Although maybe Dinwiddie probably going to still take some shots because he's also another primary ball handler. Yeah. But I'm also curious too, because I feel like the Mavs could have gotten more for Porzingis. Porzingis isn't damaged goods. He is still a respectable player. I feel like if you do Porzingis plus maybe a first round pick for a starter, you could have gotten a Sabonis. I think they could have gotten a quality starter, a fringe all-star for Porzingis. So what they got in return kind of doesn't make any sense to me, knowing that in this day and age, it takes 2. It takes 3. So I do think the Mavericks fumbled with this trading Porzingis away, just because of what they got back in return.
I agree with you. To be honest, I wasn't too high on this trade. If you're a Dallas fan, I'm not too excited about this. But we'll see, man. One thing, if you're a Dallas fan, I get Luka signed did he sign his, I forget. I think he did. He did sign the extension, right?
What year was he drafted? 18, right?
He was with, 8 in them.
He's going to sign he's going to get the max. He probably get this, I don't know, not super max, but yeah.
He's probably going to sign it. But as we've learned with the NBA these days, that clock is ticking. If you're a superstar, and
100%.
If you're a guy who could be number 1 guy on a championship team, and the team around you isn't really holding it down, there's some questions.
Oh, but yeah, I will say I think the Mavs get a slight pass because Luka is I got such a number 2, but I think they get a slight pass because they went for it getting Porzingis, and it was just he didn't become the guy.
Just didn't work out.
I think they get a 1 to 2 year grace period.
Okay.
Fair. Yeah,
that's fair. That is fair.
Don't correct a mistake with a bigger mistake.
Yeah.
I agree, and I agree with the when it comes to signing a superstar long term, because we've seen it. It's do you have them for 4 years, or are they gonna fuck around that 4th year, not play until you trade them?
I mean, look at Ben Simmons. He has 4 years left on his deal, and he said,
Right.
"I'm all set.
That
I'll
is
Yeah.
one
leave
of
the
the
30."
craziest things I've
Yeah.
ever seen.
So it's
man.
like at the end of the day, is a Kawhi, Paul George, like those weird ass contracts, are they actually doing the franchise a favor when they do
Right.
stuff like that?
Yeah.
Kawhi, the guy we think does the opposite with franchises, leaving them in the dark and shit, is actually just like sort of being a fair businessman.
Mm.
Uh if we're thinking about that like that. Any other trades? What did I miss? What did I miss?
So
You
we
guys
just
talked about
covered
Mavericks.
We were just talking
Porzingis.
about
Oh,
Yeah,
all
that.
right, all
we
right.
haven't moved on to another trade. I did want to talk about though the Haliburton trade for
Okay.
Sabonis
All
between Sacramento and Indiana. I want to hear what you guys think about this first, though. So, what are your thoughts?
Um, it was an interesting trade. I think that
Are you drinking bleach if you're a Sacramento Kings fan? I guess the better question.
Uh, are you
it's
are you
tough. It's
drinking
tough.
bleach if you're Demontis Sabonis?
Well, here's my thing: is that why would you trade Tyrese Haliburton? You know, my thing is like he's arguably your second best player. He's a great find, and knowing that you're on the clock of De'Aaron Fox, what's the
that's it.
point of why trade Haliburton and not trade Fox instead? Is it
Right.
because of the money situation?
Yeah, they chose Fox.
Yeah,
That's really
so-
what it comes down to, right?
Which makes no sense to me.
Right. Fox is just like, that's the guy you really want. Like, is the problem they couldn't trade Fox? So they're like, fuck it, we'll stay with you because we're idiots and we're Sacramento. So because this guy's easier to trade, we'll trade him. And we'll get
Yeah.
Sabonis back. And Fox and Sabonis, that's going to be fucking Chris Paul and Aiton for them or something.
They
that's
played
their
last
last-ditch
night.
effort with
They played
Fox.
last night together, and they did look good. But come on,
I'm
He
a
already-
Fox guy. I do like Fox. Like, if he was on the Celtics, I'd be dancing right now. But
One of the worst jump shooters in the league, though.
yeah.
a man after my own heart.
But yeah,
Nah,
I
man.
think this is Sacramento's last effort to impress Fox, because you get the bonus. You have Harrison Barnes. You had Buddy Hield, that didn't really work out. You had Marvin Bagley, that didn't work out. So this is it. Either this experiment works or it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So I like the trade honestly more so for the Pacers, because although they're rebuilding,
Definitely.
you have a piece in Haliburton that you can grow around. You have a piece in Buddy Hield that you can easily flip
Mhm.
this upcoming summer. So, and then you still have Miles Turner, you still have Malcolm Brogdon. So the Pacers are in a good position to get picks. Where the Kings, you get Sabonis, it's like, okay, you have Fox, okay, you have Harrison Barnes, okay. You just gave up Marvin Bagley. So
Yeah.
where's it? And then I seen that the team thinks they can make the play-in, but it's like, is that gonna please Fox to stay long term? Like, it's tough. Like, even though I don't think De'Aaron Fox is a needle moving player, like let me rephrase that. I think De'Aaron Fox it could be an all-star.
Yeah.
But like
Yeah.
I think he's like the best player on like championship team. That's what I mean.
He probably couldn't even be the second best player on a championship team, to be honest. That's my opinion.
Probably not.
He doesn't have a jump shot. That's the
Simmons,
only thing.
Simmons was wilding on the pod the other day. He said like something about like him not being top 10 point guard. He'll never be top 10 point guard.
That's a little much.
Top 10 in the league at his position. I'm like, dude, come on.
He's like,
Because there's
what,
really like
23,
5 good
20?
point guards.
What's
Yeah.
it- And he's super young. It's just they had a younger guy who was really fucking good and is probably going to end up being better.
Right. No, that's why I think this trade, if you're a Sacramento fan, I would just be so livid. I mean, Haliburton, like you mentioned, Gabe, younger. He's 21 years old.
His rookie contract made him more movable too.
Yeah, this is dude on a rookie deal. He's making $4 million a year. He's under contract. Like, you basically can kind of control this guy's contract situation for the next 4 years. I'm gonna throw some Haliburton stats at y'all real quick. So shout out to Kirk Goldsberry, give a little credit there. So 93 players have tried at least 300 jumpers this year. Haliburton ranks 6th in efficiency, showing above basically 59%. 49 players have tried at least 100 off the dribble threes. Haliburton is 2nd in the league, shooting at basically 41%. He makes 43% of his catch and shoot threes. He's 11th in assists. He ranks 12th in steals. In the 12 games without Fox, he's averaging basically 20 and 10. I mean,
he's a soon-to-be all-star.
I was gonna ask what's the logic, but then when you look at Sacramento's track record, there's never really logic applied to any of their moves. So it's on brand for Sacramento, but Jesus, man, you think they couldn't outdo themselves if they find a way to do
Yeah.
that.
This
It's
was the only
crazy.
thing that bugged me this trade deadline, where I feel like it was a pretty successful trade deadline for a lot of people. And
Yeah.
not just like, oh, look at Brooklyn getting better and look at Philly like getting off of Ben Simmons, stuff like that. Like I feel like a lot of teams, nobody forced the envelope. Uh Teams like the Celtics just like they got rid of dead weight and they
Mhm.
got a guy like Derek White in return, which works
I
out for me.
love
They
that
got Tice
move.
back. They guys like Ennis Cantor and Romeo Langford. We drove them to the airport today, you and me, Jay,
Yeah.
and yeah, the Celtics and then teams like the Suns who are just on a mission. Who I want to like off a trade talk real quick
They got
or
Tony
free
Craig.
agency. They just they did a little things. They didn't fuck with anything. The Warriors didn't fuck with anything, and I
Yeah.
like watching the Lakers just be stuck. They just have to.
Yeah.
They
No.
need their
So
bed
so
in the
let me ask you
offseason. They just
this.
have to sleep in it.
I love
If you're
that
the
shit too.
Lakers, because they did have that trade offer for Westbrook, I mean for John Wall, would you attach a first round pick to get John Wall? If
I
you're the
think you'd
Lakers.
have to. You'd have to, I
Instead
think.
That was
of
the
to
offer
get
they
off of
had.
Westbrook,
To
Yeah.
get John Wall, though, you would have gotten John Wall in return.
I
what
would
is
do
John
that.
Wall anymore? What is John Wall
That's
anyways?
that's a great question, Gabe, because he hasn't played ball. Wait, has it been two
He
years
played
now?
last year.
Oh, he did. Yeah, you're right. He finished this. He actually played
He
well
came
last
back
year.
from
And
his
I'm a
He-
John
Achilles, so
Wall
that's why he
guy.
played half the season.
I'm a John Wall
Yeah,
guy.
Yeah.
true.
I love him as a player, or in terms of like him and his best. I love watching him play. But is he moving your win total up that much more? Is Westbrook that bad?
I
That he's
mean,
like
look,
Westbrook counts
He-
for negative wins?
let's put it like this: Westbrook's from LA. Those LA fans are booing him not to shoot.
Dude, that's like the
That's
first time I
bad.
felt bad for Westbrook on the
That's
court.
bad.
When I seen that shit, I actually felt
That
bad.
is kind of sad.
Yeah, that
But
was
I
rough.
do think, like, obviously, like him and John Wall are similar players, but John Wall is slightly more efficient based off what he was doing last. Like, John Wall's not someone you're like, oh no, don't shoot. Like, John Wall knows mid range
Yeah,
and is his strengths.
yeah,
But to answer my own question, I would not, because it would have been a 2027 or 2028 first round pick.
that's
No,
risky.
because you don't know what
Yeah.
your future is down the line.
That
Like,
could be a
When
lottery
LeBron
pick.
leaves, it's over.
LeBron's gonna be gone by then. AD, who knows? And you
Right.
already gave the Pelicans a bunch of picks
Yeah.
for AD, so it's like you can't mortgage your
AD.
future enough.
They signed Taylor Horton Tucker to like
son.
a $60 million. Yo, did you see that play where Giannis just
Giannis just does
destroyed him
not,
on
like,
defense?
It's just never. I don't want
He's
to hear them.
MVP.
I don't want to
Oh.
hear them mentioned in the same breath again.
Dude, Davis was like trying to dribble.
I
Giannis
don't
is
care
like,
what
no.
Davis can do.
Then Davis tries to shoot. Giannis is like, nope, give me this shit. It's like,
Giannis
bro,
is
they
on a
just
different
straight
level.
owned
Yeah.
him. Yeah, no, different. It's definitely levels to that.
THT. Can we just talk about real quick? THT is like he was born in the 21st century. He looks like I thought for a second looking at him, I thought it was like a G leaguer who got like after 10
That-
years like got into the league. Like he looks like he's
That's
in his
it,
mid 30s to me.
I remember I seen some tweet on THT. Like it was second year in the league. He had pulled up to summer league. He pulled up Louis duffel bag, shades on, dapping up, and then you just see all Lakers fans. I don't know why bro's acting like he shouldn't have been in that summer league game. Like just killing him.
Yo, Summer
Oh
League is
my God.
hilarious, man.
It's like, bro, THT. I don't know why you pulling up
It's
like
like you should be
Hollywood.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
it needs to be in that summer league game. Yeah, no.
What
What's up,
about the Lakers? Look, that team is
they're a mess. Yeah,
there. I don't want Westbrook to get all the blame because although like
Right.
he could be playing better, he should be playing better. LeBron's playing at an MVP level. AD has played better since he got better.
yeah.
But it's about this team just doesn't have enough shooting.
Doesn't make
and-
sense.
Which we knew
Doesn't
going
make
into
sense.
this year.
Huh?
We knew this going into this year too.
We knew it. Like, and it's funny too because
By
I feel like
design.
because I feel like they have too many scorers. Like Carmelo Anthony, cool fit. Malik Monk. I think Malik Monk and Carmelo actually have been pretty good this year.
I love Malik.
I love Monk on the Celtics. I texted that to Jay the other night.
Yeah,
He's been great. I think him and Carmelo have been their best bench players, but I think after
That's a
that is
fact.
where there's a gap.
it's like
And-
Trevor Ariza, Kent Bazemore. Ugh.
Yeah, it's,
Well, I actually thought Bazemore would have been better, but it's tough when you're playing like every other week. You know, you're not even in the rotation.
yeah.
Um,
Let me ask you
yeah.
guys about this trade. Oh, I
Go ahead. Yeah, what's up?
was gonna say the other big trade that happened. The Blazers finally. Well, first of all, shout out to the
Yes.
Clippers. Before I get to that trade, shout out to the Clippers next year. Robert Covington and Norman Powell. What? Are you kidding me
That's-
right now? Jerry,
it makes
the Lakers should have gave Jerry West those damn tickets. It's nice.
That's a good point.
But
Yeah, I
yes,
mean,
obviously TJ McCollum.
Yeah.
Unless you guys have a comment about that Clippers trade, my bad. I'm talking.
No.
No, you're good. That was the other big move,
money.
honestly. That CJ McCollum. That's just the Pelicans to me. I see that trade on surface. I'm thinking, okay, the Pelicans, they think they can make the play in this year. I guess they're thinking Zion's gonna come back. Who the only images I see of Zion, Gabe, I probably text you this once a month. Is him
commercial.
In the Mountain Dew commercial eating cheese puffs with Zach LaVine, talking about give me another Mountain Dew. Don't even really want to get into that.
It's so ironic, dude.
Yeah, that commercial is so ironic.
He looks huge in that commercial.
You look at him at Duke, bro. You look at him at Duke, and you look at the last known picture of him.
He was a Greek god at Duke.
Yeah, he's there's something going on here. There's some it's either a major health issue or this guy does not give a fuck.
I think it's the latter. I think
it's that New Orleans food,
bro. It's that gumbo, yeah, the jambalaya.
Yeah, I mean, so that trade, the actual trade, it was Blazers traded CJ, Larry Nance, Tony Snell to the Pelicans for Josh Hart, who I like, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, who I also like, Satoransky, whatever. Satoransky, and it's funny because I think, the Jazz. The second that trade happened, the Jazz and the Spurs then got involved, and the Jazz got Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Spurs got Satoransky. I think Blazers got Ingles, which is towards ACL. He's out for the year.
What a cold world that is, too, with Ingles.
I know.
Ingles won't
tear your ACL. Think you're about to be getting surgery at Utah. Nope, get your ass on a plane.
And he's been there for years.
I hear he's done, his contract's up after this year, and they might just bring him back. They might just bring him back after.
Yeah, which would make sense.
But I think, when you trade away CJ McCollum, first of all, when they traded away Powell and Covington, it's like, is the end there?
That's a hint,
CJ McCollum, it's like, okay, the clock's up. Dame time is over because
So we think.
Oh, no. Okay,
they're saying it's not a rebuild, it's a restructure.
Let's be honest here. Look, these GMs think they're Danny Ainge 2007.
Blazers GM is ass.
We don't know who their GM is because their GM got fired a few weeks ago.
Yeah,
their front office is a mess.
It is.
I can't remember the players, but they've turned three legitimate starters into nothingness.
Crazy.
This organization has. I'm not gonna say they wasted. They didn't waste Dan. They did what they could. They were an average team, but let's be honest. No one is going to Portland. They don't have I don't think they have the draft capital to acquire assets. Again, you're not Danny Ainge 07. You're not Billy King 2013. Doing stuff like that, the Hail Mary stuff, is not happening. Let's be honest. Damian Lillard will be traded this summer or this fall, one or the other. Because unless Damian Lillard, unless he really just wants to stay in Portland and doesn't really care about winning a ring, which is if he doesn't, that's fine.
The grind.
Yeah.
Did you see the tweet where it's Damian Lillard plus shooting guard grind, small forward grind, power forward grind?
Yeah.
But I don't think the Blazers, they're not going anywhere. This is a lottery team. I'm sure. Chet Holmgren's right up the street. Might as well get him in for a few workouts.
Yeah. It's interesting. So with the Blazers, with that move, they created a $21 million trade exception and potentially $60 million in cap space this offseason.
I hope so.
You might be right, Gabe. They could be reconstructing just the overall.
They don't.
Team
Apparently, they
Dame.
plan on keeping Dame. They say they're keeping Dame, and they're going to be competitive still. Who knows? It looks like the opposite to me. Real quick, I want to get you guys your thoughts. When I say the Dame Lillard, in 20 years we're having a beer. Hey, remember those Blazers teams with Lillard and McCollum? What do you have to say about those teams?
You can go first, Clevis.
They were, high scoring, a lot of points, average team. 2019, they blew a lead every game to the Warriors.
That was disgusting to watch.
Let's be honest. In 2019, we all knew that was their peak. If you were gonna make it to the finals or whatever, do it, because I think that was a year injuries or something like that.
Right.
So that was a pick. But honestly, on the offense, remember that duo. It's literally just scoring offense.
Yeah,
that was really it.
Same. To answer your question, Gabe, same. I think of that. See the CJ Dame era. I think 10:30 on TNT versus
Yes.
Denver,
I have such a
and
soft spot for them.
yeah, Dame's putting up 50, and it's a wild game, and Portland
I
probably
love watching Dame.
loses
Dame
because
is
they
there's
always
something about him.
lose. He's a gamer. He is a gamer.
He's a gamer. And McCollum too. McCollum, I
McCollum.
think of the what was it, 5 or 6 overtimes
Yeah,
versus Denver.
Oh yeah, against Denver.
yeah.
McCollum, that is
That playoff
the most
series, that was
underrated basketball
crazy.
performance ever.
That's such a
That
Game
guy
good.
was
7 against
like
Denver too. He carried
Yes.
them.
that guy like
Yes.
it was like 70 minutes of basketball and he's hitting the most insane shots,
Yo.
crazy crossovers that take a lot of
Yes.
energy to pull off late in the game and he's hitting everything nothing but net. Like go watch those highlights. That is McCollum's had some of the crazy like sometimes he looks like the best player on earth. I'm sorry.
You're right.
Sometimes
Yeah.
when he's hot, like that's what it looks like. Of course he's not. Of course he's not even a superstar, but like I'm gonna remember him fondly. They had, like you guys said, they had their shot against Golden State. Golden State was
Mhm.
on one leg, and limped into the finals basically. Sort of gave Portland a head start every game. It felt like. I feel like Golden State didn't even give
Yeah.
a fuck about that series. Um, that was Steph making Portland like, yeah, I'm your daddy. Just like he said that to Houston the series before.
I own you guys.
I'm back. I'm back.
Yeah, but
So, all right, from the Pelicans' perspective, what? Yeah, I was gonna ask y'all from the Pelicans' perspective. So y'all got CJ, Brandon Ingram, potentially Zion.
Oh, I like it for them.
How good can this
Oh,
team be?
playoffs, losing the first round.
Yeah,
the league is so stacked, dude.
I mean,
The league is so stacked that you can have a really nice team.
it's all
It'll be nice if you're in the second round.
Like Zion's an all-star.
I think we're having connection issues.
Oh no, I can hear you.
not. Yeah, we can hear you.
What the fuck is going
So
You
on?
were
they're a
saying like
stacked
the
team.
so stacked.
Oh, you couldn't hear me just now? It's my connection.
Right.
I'm in the gulag.
Yeah, yeah.
What a twist. I'm in the gulag. What a twist. So you
Plot
guys,
twist.
can you hear me now?
Yeah, yeah, we
Yeah,
can hear
I hear you
you.
fine. Yeah.
Okay. I was just saying, you can have a really nice roster, and it's nice if you make the second round, because the league is so stacked and so talented.
It's true.
Now I have a question then, because this is a
What's up?
team that I'm about to mention. I think they're at their peak.
Mhm.
What about the Utah Jazz?
It's interesting
We're
because
not
they,
big Jazz fans on this pod.
yeah, mainly because of just the Gobert shit with me. But
Oh wait, whoa, what is this? What's the Gobert? What's going on?
I mean, man, I just think if you're a guy who's just damn near a zero on offense in like late game in the playoffs, I can't be too high on you, man.
Yeah.
It's good though. They got I think them getting to kill Alexander Walker, I think that's actually going to be helpful. That's a guy that could kind of off the bench with Clarkson, just more offensive firepower. But damn, now that I'm thinking about it out loud, if you're Utah, I might have leaned more to getting like a perimeter defender rather to put alongside Mitchell rather than and Conley rather than like another offensive guy. I feel as if they have enough offense. I like Nikhil Alexander, but maybe I would have went on defensive route for that position. I don't know though. I don't see them. I think they're still like a second round exit team at best.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I agree. I think Utah, I mean, the West is so unpredictable. Like, obviously, like I think everyone's saying Phoenix and Golden State for the conference
Phoenix,
finals.
Golden State, and then there's everybody else.
Yeah. Like
And Memphis, I think. I think Memphis might be
Phoenix,
in there
Golden
now.
State, then Memphis, because I don't Memphis. I
They're
love
knocking
them.
on the door.
They're
Yeah.
not there yet with Golden State and Phoenix.
Yeah.
They look great right now. Those three, those two, then Memphis, and then everybody else to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
So I guess this begs the question that, so yeah, okay. So Utah, I think, yeah, they're at their peak. So this begs the question then, where do the Lakers finish?
Fucking 12th.
I'll love that. Imagine they
See
missed
you
the
on the golf
play-in.
course. No.
Honestly, man, I have no idea. It's crazy because we're more than halfway through the season, and I still don't know.
Right.
Like, if you
There's
tell
no
me,
change in roster.
yeah, if y'all told me y'all went to the future just now, like y'all just disappeared from the Zoom, went to the future, and you told me the Lakers were in the Western Conference Finals, I wouldn't call you crazy. I wouldn't, because it's like LeBron. Okay, he's still LeBron. Davis, I could, like you mentioned earlier, Clevis, he's been playing much better since he's returned from injury. It's tough because when you have LeBron, I just can't really count you out. But I wouldn't bet on the Lakers going far. That's for sure.
So let me ask you this then, because I feel like last year people thought the same exact thing. They got Andre Drummond, LeBron returned from the ankle injury, AD returned, they lose in the first round. Do you believe in this idea of flipping the switch?
They can't flip the switch. This team can't. Maybe for a round in the playoffs.
Yeah.
This is not they don't have the tools to win the title on either side.
Agree.
They got rid of the guys that did all the work that got no credit. Like even Schroeder for them was major in my opinion in the bubble. They got rid of they don't have KCP anymore.
Nope.
Another guy who got no credit that people made fun of, but he would hit a big shot.
Lost Caruso.
They lost, and I was Caruso, the number one guy they lost.
I was gonna say that's probably the biggest one.
Yeah, that's not just LeBron. Look at LeBron making this white kid look good. Like, no, that dude is a baller. And he was necessary.
I agree.
You trade you replace that with a bunch of guys who need the ball in their hands, who aren't what they once were.
Yeah.
Ooh. Nice way of saying they're washed.
I agree with you, Gabe. I don't think there's a flip to switch because it's funny because it's such a I would say Milwaukee, they can flip the switch because they had the championship run. They have the core guys are still there. This Lakers team outside of LeBron and Davis, I mean, who knows what his trajectory is looking like, but outside of that, it's a completely different Lakers team than the one that won the title in 2020. So it's like LeBron could probably flip the switch, because he's LeBron.
That's my thing. Never say never with LeBron, but
Davis, I don't even know. I'm not sure if there's
a
switch there for Davis and the rest of the team. I don't know. They don't even know what it feels like to play well for an extended period of time. So
I could just see Melo getting super hot in the playoffs and fucking Austin Reeves just going off and them but that's not going to get you. They're not going to the championship.
That wins you first round at best.
Yeah.
And who knows? They might not even. They're probably going to be in the play-in, to be honest. Anyway.
They will be in the play-in.
That'll be so. If they are, guys, look at their number 9. They're a game and a half behind the Clippers. Which I will say, the play-in. I'm kind of a traditionalist. I do like the top 8, but
I'm kind of with you in terms of how we judge teams and shit. Like, how am I really supposed to feel about these play-in teams and mentioning should somebody who's 7 also be? I don't know.
I feel like this. The Warriors would have made the playoffs last year if it wasn't for the play-in. But they lost the Grizzlies, so the Grizzlies made the playoffs.
I know, that was so sad.
So I'm happy you brought that up. The Warriors should have won that game, and nobody talks about it. And everybody says, "Oh, the Suns got lucky. AD got hurt." But look at the Suns this year. Look at the Warriors this year, and look at the Lakers this year. I think the Lakers lucked out, winning that game. LeBron hits a shot. He bounced it off his head backwards, and it went in from 3. It was just ridiculous. It was a lucky win for the Lakers, and because they're the Lakers, they were the defending champs. People were just acted like that was their divine right to get into the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah,
but it's looking like a Mickey Mouse title.
No bullshit.
I didn't want to say it.
I mean.
And then Miami last year, who I love Miami, but they got swept first round. The bubble playoff does not look good right now.
In hindsight.
But last year's does. Last year's title does. Yeah. Look at Phoenix.
Bucks, yeah.
What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do if Phoenix goes fucking 65 and whatever and wins the title this year?
Dude, that'll be so crazy. First of all, I'm fascinated with this Phoenix Suns team just because.
Me too.
They don't have for years. It's you need the superstar and the big small forward, the big power forward, the big center. They don't have any of that. They have Devin Booker. Doesn't you look at him? He doesn't really strike. I mean, even this season, I don't think he's having a crazy. He's having a good season, but not you know what I mean. The MVP, they're number
it's
one.
It's not a career year.
Not a career, and they're number 1, but no one on their team's having the MVP
right, which is
it's just a team
fine in the regular season.
Exactly,
but that was a problem last year in the finals.
Damn, they're 44-10. Holy crap.
The other team had the best player.
So I will say this also, and I don't like saying this, but I think it's a little fair to mention. Before Davis went out with that injury, and I think Phoenix. I know you're not going to like this game.
Before Davis went out with that injury,
but let's be honest, bro.
Golden State.
The Lakers. They looked like they were on the way to beating Phoenix in the first round. That's why I go back to saying like I can't,
because it was 2-1, right?
it was 2-1 and Davis
It
was
was
like,
2-1.
Davis was going crazy. They were going. Davis was just murdering Ayton.
Here's
That's
what
why
else,
I don't know, Jay. It was 2-1. It wasn't 3-0.
here's
I
what else.
know,
Look at that Clippers series.
but those
with
two wins
Dallas.
that they
The Clippers Dallas
dominated.
series. It
Yo,
looked like
what-
Dallas had that locked up, and
a good
we
point.
saw what happened.
That was
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah,
Like,
that was crazy.
That was one of the crazy. Like, first, it's funny because I was like, I just remember there was a game where I remember during that series, the Clippers Mavs series, there was a game Luka was going off in the first quarter.
Yes, I remember that. It was the game 6, and then
Was
Kawhi
it?
lost his mind. Yeah.
Yes, because it was like weird because Kawhi lost his mind. I remember it was like then the Clippers like made it like a 1 point game. I remember I was like Luka, I was like, yo, what did I say? I was like they need to bring back segregation or something like that because I was like this dude is too hot.
What Luka's doing is not okay.
I was like, yo, this is crazy. But yeah, no, I agree with you on like you just like shows you injuries happen. Injuries can change an entire series.
For
Also,
sure.
the Lakers team, I think, which obviously it's not worth mentioning, but maybe is worth mentioning.
Mhm.
Before they were hurt last year, they were number one in the league. They were number one in
Yeah.
the league, and I think they made a mistake not playing Marc Gasol as much.
Yeah, I mean,
Fuck
he
the
was kind of a
Lakers.
guy who kind of got gave
fuck them.
fuck this whole thing.
I'm sorry they rely on
And Solomon Hill screwed up the whole
injury-prone
season.
7-footer who falls after every play and is a crybaby and a 80-year-old man.
So, what do you guys think of Charles? Which I feel like
love
this
it.
nickname is now attached to AD forever, calling him Street Clothes.
Yo, that shit is so funny. Who started that? Barkley, right?
Barkley started it, and it's called on. It's like that's forever attached with AD. Like, damn, Street Clothes
Barkley's
is back.
just, man, he's gonna
But-
give you gold content all the time.
But let me ask you guys this too: that I'm looking at the East because the East is, it's jumbled right now.
Right.
Let me do yes or no if you guys think these teams can at least make a run to the conference finals or NBA finals. Let me know.
Okay.
Miami Heat,
Yes.
Definitely yes,
Bucks,
Yes.
for sure.
Bulls.
Conference finals?
Yes, I'll say yes.
Yes.
Damn, this really is a clogged up conference.
It's
Dude,
Cavs-
it's crazy
So
stacked.
open.
So it's gonna
Scalabrine
come down to
tweeted about it
seeding.
earlier. It's a murderer's row.
Guess what? You guys might think I'm crazy. I think the Celtics.
So let me say this.
Here
Let
we
me
go.
say this. Let me say this about the Celtics.
Okay.
I think I mentioned last time when I was on your show. On paper, I genuinely did think the Celtics could make the conference finals. I didn't say NBA finals. I think they could have made the conference finals.
And
I
we
still think
apologize.
this-
We
yeah.
called you crazy. I probably called you crazy when you said that.
And I probably agreed.
Yeah,
and I still think. I mean, look, the East is loaded. But damn, looking at it right now, holy
Dude, the
crap!
Celtics,
It's
since
loaded,
the
man.
calendar turned into since the calendar year turned to 2022, the
Yeah.
Celtics, the Celtics have basically been the best team in the league in 2022.
Well,
They're number one net rating.
They're
number
murdering
one
teams.
rating.
Well, here's my question to you guys.
Tatum and Brown look amazing. Yeah. What's the question?
My question is, because I'm looking at the seedings right now, Brooklyn's currently number 8. They're below the play-in line. They are a game and a half back of the Celtics for number 7. I mean, Brooklyn's going to go on a run. I mean, right? They're going to go on a run.
You would think.
You would
'Cause
think, right?
Raptors
But they
are
got to
the
play.
weird team. Raptors are number 6 and Cavs are number 4. Those are the only
This
teams.
isn't. Yeah, this
Raptors
isn't
and
your older
Cavs.
brother's Eastern. I won't say your dad's. This isn't your older brother's Eastern Conference where it's like LeBron,
Yeah.
some cookie cutter
Atlanta.
number
with
one.
Paul
Yeah,
Millsap
Atlanta
as
or the
number one.
Celtics with Thomas, where it's like, yeah, you're not beating. There's a bunch of good teams, so
Yeah.
it's going to be hard to go on a streak in this Eastern Conference because every night you're probably facing somebody legit.
It's going to come down to seeding. Like, it's generally going to come down to seeding. Like, I feel like, obviously, there's no easy matchup.
Hell,
But
Yeah.
if you can play, like, if you can get that number 1 or number 2 seed just because you'll be playing someone that had to play in the play-in, that's an
It's
advantage because
important.
they had to play unnecessary extra games.
I mean, can we talk about Cleveland real quick? Because
Yeah,
so you're looking at the standings right now, Clevis. Where are they?
Yeah.
Are they fourth?
They're 4th.
They're fourth. They just got Levert, and some people were
Oh, yeah.
against the Levert move, talking about, oh, he's a ball stopper. But I think it's important to mention, if you were on, like, I'm trying to put myself in Karis Levert's shoes. If you're on this Indiana team where Sabonis is miserable, Malcolm Brogdon is not even there, Miles Turner's miserable. Like, the team is just so miserable. Levert's just a guy, like, he's a scorer first, but like when you're on a team like that, okay, maybe you might take 4 or 5 more shots than you should have. So like I think it's unfair to see that situation that he was in Indiana and say, oh, he's just gonna bring that bad juice to Cleveland and mess
Yeah,
up their whole thing. It's
I
like,
agree.
nah, bro, if you're putting this guy who is a good player, we've seen him do
Right.
good things in Brooklyn. We've seen him
Shooting
have good moments in
45% on the
Indiana.
season.
He could be a
Yeah,
better version of Jordan Clarkson on the Jazz.
100%. You put him on this Cleveland team where it's good vibes, everyone knows their role. Like, unless he's just a horrible human being who just hates everyone. Like, I
Right.
can see Karis LeVert, like, okay, I'm on a winning team. You know what? I'm gonna find my role and fit in. So I
Right.
think that's a great move for Cleveland. I think that's another team who could make it to the conference finals.
Oh, I don't know about that part.
You don't think so? I don't know, man. They're good.
I
They're
don't,
really
Jay.
good.
I think they are bound to make it in the next few years, but
Yeah.
it's hard being, like I said, all these teams are really good. Experience is going to come into play in the playoffs. It doesn't matter how good you are, like experience is going to come into play. That's why like that Golden State with Clay and Steph, they were amazing early on. They weren't making the finals just yet because experience did matter.
Yeah.
And
No,
I
that's
think
fair.
this Cavs team, I think you need like a superstars league, but I think also Colin Sexton. I'm very fascinated for this team. Actually, now things are a little bit interesting actually for the Cavs after this year because you keep Kevin Love. You have to
Shout out Kevin Love. He turned it around. I'm surprised.
Yeah, he's doing good.
Yeah.
But also, they have to pay Darius Garland, probably going to get the max.
Which I think
Colin
he
Sexton
definitely
does not have an
do.
extension.
I think Sexton is the guy. He's the oddball out. They're not bringing him back.
You don't. That's interesting. So here's the thing: what do you get back? You could do a signing trade, but you have two guys that are worth max. I'm sure Jared Allen has something, a hefty contract.
Yeah,
Gabe
100
smiling.
mil or some shit. Yeah.
Huh? I
No,
got
you're
your
smiling
trade
over
right
there.
here.
Uh-oh.
Jared Allen and Colin Sexton for Mr. Russell Westbrook. Who says
no?
That's not a bad trade.
That's a terrible trade.
It's not,
That's that's LeBron's wet dream.
Wait.
You think Jared
So
Allen
Sexton
getting rid of Westbrook?
Are the Cavs better than the Lakers?
Now, if you say
Yes.
Sexton and
Yes. Lakers
Wait,
are not a good basketball team.
Yeah.
Was LeBron going back home?
He said it. He made a joke earlier when they were doing the draft. He picked Darius Garland. He was like, I want to, save my whatever face I have left in Cleveland. It's like, okay, LeBron, whatever, dude. But to go back to the Cleveland thing, I obviously when I say they can make the conference finals, I don't mean they're my favorites. Like I still think Milwaukee. I think Milwaukee honestly is the only safe team. But like when you look at the East, outside of Milwaukee, these are all like new teams. Like Philly's gonna be a new team with Harden. Brooklyn, this is like the third version of whatever the hell they got going on.
Chicago.
What about Chicago?
Chicago's a new team. So like when I think about it, like why not Cleveland if shit breaks?
Fair.
I'm not gonna bet on them to make
so
it.
Young.
Yeah, no, they're really young.
Here's my top three.
They got a puncher's
on
chance.
paper. Here's my top three on paper then. And Philly is a toss up because we haven't seen them play, but I'll include them in my top three. I'm going.
Yeah.
All right, maybe not in order though. Philly, Philly, Milwaukee. I still like the Bulls, but I like that Bulls big three of DeRozan, Levine, and Vucevic. I just
they've
really
been
like
balling,
that big three, man. And the Nets are that question mark, but
yeah,
you gotta get on that run too. And no one knows about KD because I don't know. Have the Nets ever put out a timetable of return?
He said it himself today. They asked him, the TNT crew, they're like, when are you coming back? He's like, I have no timetable, but I'm feeling good. Those guys, man, they never want to tell you when they're coming back. I'd assume after the All-Star break. They probably And with Brooklyn, it's interesting because with Brooklyn, they tell you 4 to 6 weeks on their guys when they're out, and it's usually like 8 to 10. They really played safe. Of course, with Durant, you're gonna play it super safe. He's fucking Kevin Durant, but I like that top three though. You said Chicago, Milwaukee, and Philly.
While we're talking about these Eastern Conference teams and how they're all new and whatnot, I'm happy you bring up after the All-Star break. Every year we see a team start off hot and just fall back to earth after the All-Star break, and then the opposite. There's also teams that turn up after the All-Star break, which will probably be one of the Sixers or the Nets. Yeah. One of those teams is going to turn up after the All-Star break. Not sure which. Maybe both of them. I assume one of them will. Who do you guys think declines after the All-Star break? Does Cleveland, all these young guys, does the length of the NBA season finally get to them?
I think it'll be the Raptors.
Interesting. That's a good one. Who we haven't even mentioned yet.
because I think they're
Raptors
number
are
6.
interesting.
They're
They're
just
an interesting
there.
team.
You know, I know Van Fleet's been great.
Yeah.
Siakam's rebounded from last year.
Yes.
Scotty Barnes has had an all-star rookie of the year caliber year.
OG Anunoby's been great. This
OG
career year
Anunoby,
for him.
Like that Raptors team, they're just a solid team. Like they were they're just there. But there's a team of good guys. They're like the Celtics with IT, just without the star power, I guess.
Like a little bit more talented of those.
Celtics that's what they
teams.
kind of remind me of. But
Jay
I don't
Crowder.
know.
Jerebko.
Yeah, so I can see them slipping because the net. I mean, unless Kevin Durant's out even longer, I would be shocked if the Nets stay in that 8th spot. I think they make a run. The Celtics, I mean, you guys made a good point. Like the East is tough. Like it is tough.
Celtics are.
And I don't think seeding is gonna matter, honestly. Like obviously you want home court, but
yeah,
I don't know.
Right at the end of the day. Yeah, at the end of the day. Jay, what do you do if KD is just with this injury shit and everything? Like, what if he just calls it quits at the end of the year and retires, and you lose Brady and KD
in the same year?
Yeah, what would you do?
Probably out on sports at that point. Well, for real, if that happened in this crazy universe, I would probably have to take a year off from sports.
Take a year off.
That would be so traumatic, bro.
That would kill. Yeah, that definitely kills some passion.
That's so brutal.
Let me ask you guys.
Damn. What's up? Yeah.
I was gonna ask you guys another cool question. Do you guys have any problems with the guys that got named to the All-Star team? Any snubs?
Yes.
That you just reminded me. My apologies, everybody, and I know nobody was looking for it, but Jay, I never posted my All-Star picks. It was basically the same as yours. I could still post them before the game starts, but yeah.
I have a slight. I think it's championship equity. Chris Middleton making the team this year, man. Over Jared Allen. To be honest, I think Middleton hasn't even been the second best guy on his team this year. I think Holiday's been better. I think Holiday would deserved it over Middleton, but I don't know, man. Outside of Middleton, I'm glad LaMelo got in. I think that was great. Who else got in? Who was the other guy that got in?
Is Jaylen Brown not a snub?
See, so Middleton is the guy who shouldn't have got in, and there's like a bunch of guys that I think Jaylen Brown could have took Middleton's spot. Drew Holiday could have. Jared Allen, obviously. Outside of that, though, like not too much complaints, to be honest.
I will say I was a little shocked Jimmy Butler made it just because he missed so much time.
Yeah.
I get the heater number 1, but
he's been so good though. But you're right.
He missed so much time.
Yeah. I'm glad Van Fleet got it. Well deserved.
I agree. I like that Garland made it.
Yes, definitely.
Outside of that, Jaylen Brown's probably the only one. LaMelo's
LaMelo is just a guy we just want to see in the All-Star game because of what the All-Star game is. Just back and forth alley-oops, fun shit like that.
And so you guys have, I have a LaMelo question, but you guys have any other toss-ups on the All-Stars that you guys weren't maybe snubs or maybe should have made it?
I feel like I was good with everything. Wiggins being a starter was weird, but that
was weird. But me personally, when it comes to snubs and a bunch of stuff, like we did this with the 75 team, if you were really that nice, you wouldn't get snubbed. John Morant's not getting snubbed because he's fucking balling out this year. Some people are gonna get lucky with that and some people aren't when you're on that back end of All-Stars.
Yeah.
Should winning matter to make the All-Star team?
To an extent.
To an extent, like how do you contribute to your team's success? Yes.
Okay.
Like I'd rather have Trae Young, obviously, than Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry's on a number 1 team in the East.
Right.
Trae Young's team is 10th, but Trae Young is
Trae Young's more important to his team. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's like I think it's a situation by situation type deal.
And then my other question is, any thoughts on Andrew Wiggins making it?
Yeah, so I thought that was so goofy, bro. Good for him. I'm happy for him. It looks like he's finally found a home in Golden State, but come on, Andrew Wiggins is not a starter. It's not an all-star starter. Like we're gonna look back on this 50 years from now and it's like that was wrong. Shouldn't have happened.
And 2 quick things. One, it's kind of funny that the Timberwolves kind of reunite the old school Timberwolves with him, Cat and
Booker, Cat, yeah.
2, did you guys come across how he actually kind of made the All-Star team?
Who, Wiggins?
Yeah. Did you guys
No.
come across that? Gabe, did you
Oh,
see it?
how
I
he
feel like
make
you're
it?
laughing. Did you see it?
Was it because it was
So-
fan vote, right? Or
Well, there was a lot of fan votes. Are you guys familiar with K-pop?
Yeah.
no? Well, K-pop, the Korean music, right?
So apparently a K-pop artist tweeted out vote for Wiggins. I
Oh,
don't know if you
shit.
guys know how strong
Yeah,
the
those
K-pop. I don't know
dudes. Those dudes have
if
clout.
K-pop fan base is ridiculous. You don't
Yeah,
miss
it's
like
it, but
their
Billion
fans are
plus
insane.
people fuck with him, right?
yo, so they kept and I guess the guy that tweeted it
Wow.
out was like a huge K-pop guy,
Yeah.
and
That's
like
how he
fans
got
are just
in,
phones
bro.
because if you look at it, you like, why does Wiggins have a gap? Because in my head, I'm not gonna lie, I was like, I know Dub Nation is strong. Because remember, a few years ago, Zaza Pachulia almost made it.
Right.
Yeah.
But I was like, yo, this is crazy. It's happening again. But then I guess some people were like, yeah, no, it's the K-pop fans that gave Wiggins the edge.
Damn.
So
Nah, that makes a lot of sense
there's
now.
some
The
tidbits like
K-pop
that.
dude, those dudes, they could have tweeted out
You don't
like
mess with them.
a Sadaransky NBA vote, and he would
And
be
he said-
starting.
That's crazy. Wow, I didn't know that. So that's how Wiggins got in. I wonder if the NBA, if this Wiggins getting in as a starter leads to some like tweaks to the rule on how starters.
I don't
vote.
think the
changed
fans
I
should
mean-
have a vote.
I don't think so.
Ooh.
either.
Personally, yeah. Call me a fucking
So
dictator.
should it just be like coaches and players?
Yeah,
media,
coaches and
whomever?
players. There's a bunch of idiots
I think
out
it should
there,
be.
dude.
Yeah, it should be like whatever.
Because it's funny because in the media and player vote, Wiggins got no respect.
Yeah,
Which makes
coaches,
sense.
coaches, players, and media. That's
yeah,
it.
I agree. That's it. I agree as well. 'Cause
In that
fans
order.
aren't voting
in,
for
in that
All-NBA.
order, in my opinion, in that order.
Yeah, I agree. Wait, so what was the order again, Gabe? You said
Coaches, players, and
Coaches.
media. Because coaches are what
Yeah.
I feel like players can get biased. Like, I don't fuck with
Yeah.
that guy, or this guy's my friend. Like, I'm gonna vote for him.
my
That's the
broski.
thing, dude.
Yeah,
That's the thing.
No, it's-
Steph,
yeah,
they're
We're
they'd
seeing
be-
with KD
that's
today.
valid.
right.
Yeah,
So,
Okay, and then, yep.
no, go on.
No, I was gonna say okay, and then I'm trying to think of something else that came with. I was like, I know the All. I don't know if you guys seen the All Star format. I don't know if you guys care about like who's in dunk contest, 3-point contest, skills challenge.
Let's talk about this.
I think
We
that
probably
shit's
will more. We'll do a hoop chat episode, and Clevis, you'll be welcomed on that.
Yeah, for sure.
I
got you guys.
mentioned the all-time NBA draft to you. Maybe we'll try to get T on it too, and maybe.
It's
Son.
funny you say that. It's funny you say that because I came across the Charles Barkley clip from like
Oh my
years ago.
God, you're about to bring it up.
Oh, we were just talking. Wait,
Big
wait,
man,
so the
can't
way he's
get enough
Allen
of him.
Iverson. Oh man,
Dude,
Clevis,
and you
you're
know
in
what's
an
funny?
exclusive
I remember
circle
watching
now.
that live because I
Me
remember watching.
too.
That's
Yes,
awesome.
bro. That was a seminal moment in my childhood.
Yo, and Charles is gold because what cracks me up even more is like he was serious. Like he had no clue.
He was dead ass. He thought it was an all-star, like if you're playing an all-star game.
Yeah,
That's
that
like,
guy,
oh, wait
was,
a minute.
He's
that
what
guy
did-
just took Jordan.
He's like
Ken-
Allen
Ken-
Iverson.
Kenny Smith goes, "Who you gonna take next? Sam Bowie?"
I love Kenny.
Like
I
that
think,
show is
yo,
gold. Like that show,
shit
like
is
it's just the
gold.
naturalness. I mean,
Yeah.
like I've watched that show forever. Like sometimes I would just go on YouTube, just like binge watching like the
Bro,
older stuff.
same.
Yeah,
And
Just-
it's like
or the
it's
open
like-
court stuff.
yeah.
Say-
I wish they did. I mean, I get there's not much
I
to
miss
talk
that.
about.
Nah, I
Yes,
wish
I
they
guess-
did it more. They got.
But
to.
what
miss
else?
that
I guess
shit.
what else are there to talk about? Because they do. I know they do it like every year now, but
Yeah.
But
Just
yeah, I
like
love-
current shit, I guess.
yeah, for real. Like I used to love open court, like the inside. Like I don't know, something about that TNT vibe. Like I don't
Charles
know, I really-
Barkley and
Right.
San Antonio women, bro. That would put you on a YouTube
Yeah.
spiral. Oh
Yeah.
my
There's a video I
God.
seen that you guys should watch. It's called Kenny Smith being an instigator. and then you look
I
at the
can
comments, it's
imagine.
like they're like what I seen a comment it was like Kenny never passed to Hakeem like he does Charles, some stuff like that. You know, it's just that show is great, even though I know some people give Shaq some flack and all that stuff. But
Yeah.
I love
Shaq's
that.
grown on me on that show. He's grown
Yeah?
on me. At first, I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
this dude's just a
same.
big, awkward guy, just trying to be too funny at times.
Yeah,
But I think he's kind of settled in his role on that show the past, 5 years. Or
I hope it never ends.
I know
No,
it-
I
it's
agree.
gonna
And
end
you know
soon.
what's crazy? You know, that's the part where I'm like, because I know
Yeah.
a few years ago, I don't know if you guys remember when Chuck said he was thinking about retiring, and that's why I don't know if you guys remember, but Chuck got to the point that he's serious about retiring. That TNT was like, okay, we'll mix it up, and he did commentary. They had him doing commentary. I
Remember
remember
that?
not like as in like an analyst.
Dude, I remember that because I remember he called the Cleveland San Antonio game when Kyrie dropped like 56. And it was when Kawhi was on the Spurs and Duncan. And Chuck was calling that game. I was like, oh shit, Charles is doing this game.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
So they try to mix it up because they know. I know it's funny too because now that TNT's hired Draymond, who I mean, kind of is obviously he doesn't have the comedic chops as Chuck,
Yeah,
but I guess it's the next Chuck. But that show is great now. That's an all-time show. I mean, it's just natural. Nothing is forced.
exactly. Yeah.
I feel like we can talk about that a different day too, just more
Right.
in depth. But definitely one of the best shows out
Yeah.
there.
I mean, I don't know what other moves
Any
happened.
other
I think. What about?
that we should cover?
I mean, do you guys think that? I mean, I was gonna mention the Celtics getting Derek White. Like, I mean, Gabe, you're the Celtics guy. Does that do anything?
I do. I think it does. I think that's another
Do
guy
you
who could
start
do
Derek
stuff with
White?
the
Or do you
ball in
make
his
him
hands.
come off the bench?
Well, at first he'll be coming off the bench, right?
I think he
first,
should
but
come off the bench. Yeah.
eventually, whatever works, whatever really works, I guess they'll see, and they'll see in the first few weeks what the deal is with this guy, and
Yeah.
who should start him or Smart. I
You know
got to
what's
see him in the
funny?
uniform first before I decide that.
Yeah, it's funny because I said earlier.
Oh, and Daniel Tice is back too.
Right.
Yeah, yo, Preston tweeted. Our friend Preston
Yeah,
Clevis.
yeah, that was
He had
funny.
tweeted. They already called the foul on Daniel Tice the second he
Yeah.
traded him. Now, I was gonna say though, with the Celtics, it's funny because ever since Marcus Smart has come back, that's kind of when they went on this roll. So I don't want to mess that up. Just
Right.
interject Derek White into the starting lineup just because he might be a better player. I like Gabe said, I want to see how it plays out and shit. Tice is a solid big to just have as a backup behind Time right now.
So here's my question then.
Yeah, I like this.
If you start Derek White, that means your starting lineup will be Marcus Smart, White, obviously the Jays, and Rob. So does that mean Al Horford comes off the bench now with Daniel Tice?
I wouldn't do that. See, I would start Allen Time Lord in the front court.
You're keeping them together.
Yeah, I would honestly, I would keep the starting lineup how it is. Smart, the Jays, and then Allen Time Lord. And then have Derek White just basically do what Schroeder was doing. Come off the bench, give us a spark here and there. Because, I mean, he is a decent player. Like, he's a good playmaker on San Antonio. He was actually balling. Of course, it's on San Antonio. You're a number one guy on a team that's basically tanking versus a number 7 guy on a potentially, a team that can make a deep playoff run. So the role is different. And that's like Gabe said, we definitely have to see how that plays out. But yeah, I would have him off the bench, bro.
Okay. And then I think another interesting trade was I'm looking through our recap right now. One is Marvin Bagley to the Pistons. Now,
so that was like a 4-teamer. That was a wild.
Yeah,
trade.
that was a lot going on. Ibaka to the Bucks.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find a quick.
Yeah.
Also, too, I was kind of shocked that. Okay, first of all, wait. I'm gonna get to that. I forgot. Did Celtics give up too much to get Derek White?
No,
So
that's
what
what I
did they end
said.
up
I think they got. They were trimming the hair. They were getting real loose edges. Like they didn't get anything. They didn't get rid of anything that made them successful over the past 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
But I think another, to me, it was an interesting trade was the Pistons getting Marvin Bagley, just because I think we all know that Marvin Bagley's time in Sacramento is coming to an end.
Yeah,
and I think that 2018 draft, the top part of that 2018 draft is getting a little more interesting as time goes on.
That's a crazy draft, low key, when you think about it.
Yeah. But is Marvin Bagley, what is he to you guys? Because he's an interesting spot as a restricted free agent.
Yeah.
I haven't liked what I've seen.
Yeah.
I think he's going to end up in the same breath as Nerlens Noel.
Yeah.
Guys like that. He'll be in the NBA. He's going to have a career.
Just like a role player.
He can contribute. A role player, yeah.
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 So it's
just a role
the
player
number
too.
2 pick.
Not like a role player on a championship team either. Just a role player in the league. He'll make some money. Good for him.
No, I agree because he's with the Pistons. I'm like, I mean, he's still young, but like you said, I don't think he's anything special. I'm trying to think of other trades that went down.
Yes.
We got through a bunch.
Milwaukee getting Serge, I think, is going to help.
I like that.
That's a nice little boost because
I
Serge.
didn't like they have to give up Dante, but Serge is a good fit.
Yeah, I guess, but you look at them now. It looks like Grayson Allen is kind of doing what Dante's. He kind of basically replaced Dante for me. So, and Grayson Allen has his little history. Like,
okay,
will he not get suspended next game? Who knows? But I like the move for them.
Speaking of that, this isn't even related to the NBA, but it's in my mind because you mentioned Grayson Allen.
Yeah.
Did you guys see that play today where that it it was during a college basketball game. It was like one of the dirtiest plays I actually have ever seen. Like, it was against
Damn.
Duke, where this Duke
Wow.
player's on the fast
I
break.
definitely haven't.
So he went up for the 2-hand dunk. First of all, he made the dunk, by the way.
Okay.
And the guy pushes him, like literally pushed him from the back. It was an ugly fall. I believe he's fine, but it was like,
As he's like hanging, he pushes him.
so he goes up so the guy is dunking. He's oblivious that there's, because you're on fast break, you're oblivious that someone's behind you. He
Yeah,
goes up for two-hand
right.
dunk. The guy, because he had stripped the guy. He peeled him.
I'm
He
watching
just
it.
pushed him. Yeah. Oh, you watching
Yeah,
that?
that's fucking disgusting, dude. I'm gonna send it to you right now, Jay.
Okay.
Watch. Get the live reaction.
Yeah. Damn.
That's terrible.
Yeah, another trade that, yeah, as you're looking through that, I think another trade that kind of stood out to me was Montrezl Harrell to the Charlotte Hornets.
That low key important for Charlotte because I think that's kind of what they were missing. Like a
An
solid
undersized big?
5. Yeah. Like Plumlee's been okay. PJ Washington, he's okay. But Montrez, I think, is better than both those guys. So now, if you're Charlotte, LaMelo, Terry, Gordon, who just got injured again. I mean, this is just so unfortunate. For like every other year, it's some shit. But hopefully he could come back. Gordon, Terry, LaMelo, Miles Bridges, and Montrezl Harrell. Like, I kind of like that 5.
And then my other question to you guys is, buyout season's coming up. Are there any buyout candidates?
Dragic has to be the main one for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As far as buyouts, yeah, because
He
the Raptors,
deserves- he should be
Yeah.
on a team that's winning. Like, it's weird. This happens, and then he gets picked up by some team that
yeah,
always picks up that type of guy, and everybody's
For no
just sitting
reason.
there with their hands
Yeah.
their hands under their ass and don't do anything.
So
I mean, yeah. What's up, Clevis?
no, I was gonna say, so we talk about Dragic, because I thought he was going to Dallas this whole time until they got Dinwiddie. But
Same.
are there any other buyout candidates? Because I'm thinking, I was thinking in my head, like, would John Wall get bought? Like at this point, like,
Ooh, that's
because
a lot of money.
like who, like, let's be honest, who's acquiring John Wall at this point? If they were all the contenders have what they want, plus John Wall's a huge contract. Like, just John Wall get bought out at this point?
Like we mentioned with the Lakers thing earlier. I know that wasn't about buyout, but like I don't think he moves the needle for any team that's actually in the position to win the championship this year.
Yeah,
I
The
agree
risk
with that.
far outweighs the reward.
it's
That I
tough.
agree with, but I think that if he gets bought out, though, knowing that you can get him very cheaply, and you add him to whatever you have already, that I think could be like, obviously, like, you don't want to have him and Westbrook on the same court together, but you have him and say like Kyrie on the same court, whatever. That's why I just mentioned John, because I'm fascinated by it, because again, I think him, as I said earlier, I think him, Westbrook, and Harden are going to kill the Supermax, but because he's an immovable contract, you're not playing in Houston, although you are getting paid in Houston, no taxes. Right. Does he want to sacrifice money to play? So that was just something I was thinking about, because like you
Good
said,
question.
I don't think there's any other buyout candidates outside of Dragic, and maybe John, if he really cares that much, but
Yeah.
outside of that, I don't think there's anyone else.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see where Dragic ends up, because like it looks like the Spurs are gonna buy him out. He got traded to the Spurs for Thad Young and was it Drew
Thad
Eubanks
Young,
and some
man.
picks. And Woj had tweeted out that teams that were interested in Dragic were Dallas, Milwaukee, Chicago, and the Clippers. Just instant reaction. What do you think is the best fit for him out of those 4 teams, or what team could use his
I like
services
Chicago.
the most? Chicago.
I like Chicago just because it gives them another ball handler. I don't know who starts at point guard for them.
Well, I guess I guess they're using Kobe White. Honestly, DeRozan's basically their point guard right
Yes.
now,
Lonzo,
until Lonzo's back.
Yeah.
But
Oh, Lonzo,
Lonzo.
you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
It's Lonzo. You're right. So I like Chicago. I mean, I think Dragic, he's obviously in a situation where you want to go to a title team. I know he
Mhm.
liked Dallas just because, obviously Luka.
yeah,
But I think Chicago makes the most sense. Maybe Milwaukee, because he's in Milwaukee.
I like the
could-
Clippers for him, to be honest.
Clippers, but they're not winning anything. That's the only part where I'm like,
Yeah, the Clippers are so weird because if Kawhi and this is the shit. Like we have no clue if Kawhi's coming back, no clue if Paul George. I hate when superstars move like
Ty
this,
Lue
bro.
said Kawhi's probably not coming back.
I
See,
think Paul George is done for the year.
I think they're both done.
so you
There's
guys are
no
saying
point.
this is a lost year for the
It's
Clippers?
a lost year.
Sadly, yeah, because they've shown some fight and there's been some nice bright spots, but
Man,
they can only be so bright when you think about what should really be going on, like what the actual plan was at this point. It's
I
not
was
really
gonna
a
say,
feel good story. There's no moral
Yeah.
victory when you have
we
millions of dollars sitting on that bench and street
Right.
clothes.
So where are we now in the Kawhi and PG experiment?
I was just about to say, because we talk about Brooklyn and how that was such a failure. Kind of look at the Clippers. This is year 3 of Kawhi and Paul George, and you haven't made it to the finals yet. This is another lost year. Kawhi is only getting older. Paul George is only getting older. It's not really a young team. They always we know that they have no assets left because they gave up everything to get these guys.
Yeah.
They're in a tough position. So I think
I say
that's why I'm shocked that Kawhi and Paul George would sit out. Go ahead, Gabe.
they take this year, and then next year they do one more year.
Yeah.
I can see that. I think next year's the year because I feel like they've had outside of the bubble, they blew a 3-1 lead to the Nuggets. I feel like they've had tough breaks where last year was year 2. Kawhi, you have that incredible comeback against Dallas.
Yeah.
And then Kawhi, they're playing tremendous ball. You still make it to the conference finals. You push the Clippers to 6.
I think they would have made it to the finals.
The Suns,
You push the Suns to 6. And then you have no Kawhi. PG's hurt. But you still have, thank goodness, the Lakers didn't give Jerry Weston tickets because now he's like, okay, I'm going to make the best thing I can.
Yeah.
Like, I do think next year, especially if they're healthy, it's like, where do we stand?
See, I feel y'all on that, but I just think like knowing how fragile each season is and how like short this championship window is, it's like if you're Kawhi and Paul George and like the Clippers are they're 8th, right? Like they're kind of still there's a chance they can crack like a top 6, I think they're a lock for the play, and there's a chance they can crack top 6 this year. So if you're Kawhi and Paul George, like why just waste another year where there's a chance that you guys can make the playoffs, and who knows, once you're in the playoffs, it's a whole new season basically. Like this window is just so small to win a championship. I don't think that the Clippers should be operating of the mindset like, oh, we just have we'll just come back next year. Because what if someone gets hurt next year? Like this shit is so fragile to me. So I don't know, but that's how the superstars are these days. They move to the beat of their own drum. So it is what it is.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Was there any other wild moves? I feel like we covered all of them.
Yeah, we covered everything that is worth mentioning, the big ones. So we did Harden, we did Haliburton, we did the LeVert, and we did the
CJ.
Celtics, and those are and we did CJ. So that's really what I wanted to cover today. Before we go. Yeah, back to the Suns real quick. I just want to bring this up because this is just an insane run.
Yeah.
What would it do for like Chris Paul's legacy? So Jay, I had him 37th all time on my 50 list.
Okay.
If they go like 65 and whatever and win the title, and he keeps playing like this,
man, if he wins the title. I'll let you answer that first, Clemson. I gotta think about that.
I mean, all time with point guards.
All time.
I mean, I think Chris Paul. I mean, off the top of my head, like, yeah, top 30, top 40 all time.
I have him at 37.
Yeah, so I don't think like I'm the type of guy where I like rings mean something, but they're not everything to me.
Right. Right.
Like I like his skill is a skill. Like, I don't think it moves the needle too much. Like
winning matters though at the end.
Yeah, I agree. Here's my
it's
thing.
not like, oh, you keep getting bad luck. It's like, no,
he's had some bad luck.
He's had bad luck, but he has also had some bad moments too.
Yeah.
I do agree with you though.
I don't like if he wins, let's say if he wins like a ring this year and a ring next year, like it's not like he's gonna go from 37 to 25. Like, oh yeah.
If he wins a ring with Phoenix, does he pass like Kidd and Nash, Jay?
I'm looking at my list right now.
To me, Chris Paul
I don't
might
have
be
him over. Nash's peak was like crazy. Like I think people forget. I don't know. I think people forget about Nash.
Chris Paul.
I think they forget about Kidd too.
Kidd was nice. I think Chris Paul might be second best point guard of all time. You can say
he's not bad.
Curry. Never mind.
He's not
Curry.
better than
Yeah, you're right. Curry.
He's not better than
third.
Magic, obviously. Yeah.
He's not. Yeah, man. Top 3 all time. Top point guard wise, top 3 all time. Top.
Is he better than Isaiah Thomas? 2 rings? Not right now, I would say.
I think it's tough. Okay, see, this is the toughest part about talking about basketball. Is like, how do you factor in the skill versus the accomplishments?
Right.
Yeah.
Like
I
Kevin
think-
Durant to me,
Situation.
like
In the
I think Kevin
situation.
Durant's gonna be in a tricky spot when he retires.
Yeah. My thing is what was your standing in comparison to your colleagues when you were playing in the league?
Right.
Which I think Isaiah Thomas and Chris Paul, I think they're probably on the same level as far
Yeah.
as how good
They're
they were
similar.
compared to others.
But at his peak,
And then
though,
Isaiah
Chris
has the
Paul
two
was like the
He was a
top.
bad man.
Yeah, like well, shoot, even in 2018 with that Rockets run, who talking about the Rockets, 28 was this? Yeah, 18. Like they were the best team in the league, and people forget
Hamstring
Paul-
away.
hamstring away, and people forget Chris Paul missed 22 games that regular season. Who knows how good they could like regular season wise? So
But
like
that's the aging point guard before he found this newfound like plant-based diet, everything, you know.
the plant-based
that's-
diet always does.
I can't knock. I can't. Like I just said with the AD thing and LeBron and you're gonna run into injuries with certain types of players at certain points in their career. And a short aging point guard, that's one of them. But he's found a way. Even last year, even with all of this said, he was still dealing with injuries in the playoffs last year. So that's just gonna be a part of it with him. You're talking about his peak, like him in LA. That's my thing. That wasn't bad luck. That was a choke job. Those Clippers losses were
You don't
all
think they had
choke
battles
jobs.
like with the injuries, though, like him getting hurt, Blake getting hurt? I understand because they blew through one.
There's some bad turnovers at the end of those games.
Dude, the 2014 series versus Oklahoma City, Chris Paul he gave that series away. That game 6, I'll never forget, where the Clippers were up like. This is a good YouTube watch if you guys want to just watch vintage KD and Russ. Less emphasis on the Russ. But Chris Paul, I remember he just got the ball stripped from Westbrook because he was trying to draw a foul on like a 60-foot full court shot. And then that led to KD hitting a 3. Then he bounced it off his foot, turnover, Durant, Reggie. Like it was just such a bad ending for him in that series. And then he made up for it, I guess, against the Spurs. But then there was another bad moment against Houston. Like it's tough. Like you said, Gabe, there was a lot of bad moments there. But
yeah,
he's made up for it.
He makes up for it big time if he wins a title.
I agree,
for sure,
and
yeah.
especially too because again, this is a Suns team where they're just a team. Like they're not like you look at them, it's like, oh, I'm not really scared of you. Like you guys are just like they're genuinely just a good team top to bottom. And he's the number 2 guy. Sometimes the number 1 guy. And also, I think the Suns are in a spot where you kind of do have to win now with CP3 because now Ayton he's getting the max from the Suns now.
So do you think he's gonna get it?
They have no choice.
I don't know because it's funny because I think Ayton is a really good player in this league, but
he's not a max guy.
He's not he might not.
He's a close max. I think he's like a Jaylen Brown type. Like he's not the max, but he's real close to it.
Yeah, Jaylen Brown, Jamal Murray type.
Real contract. Close to the max. But you have no choice. What do? You can't let him walk.
I don't know because they looked really good without him. They were just kept stringing along those wins with just putting McGee instead of Ayton. Mm-hmm. I think Ayton is good, but for what Ayton's role is on the Suns, I think it's kind of replaceable, if that makes sense. I think he's a great player, but the Phoenix essentially just needs him to be, But then he did play really good defense.
There's probably like there's probably like 3 other guys who can do what Ayton does or better in the league, in my opinion.
But is that worth like just giving him the max, tying yourself to the max with him, and then having to? I
don't think they're where they are without him.
I see.
That's fair. Yeah, I mean,
I said, there's other guys who can do it. So unless you can get those other guys, you should pay him.
Yeah.
That's what I think. And I think you have this window that's so short because like you guys mentioned, like they could win it all this year. And it's like, especially I think what helps Ayton's case, we're winning. I'm part of this winning. Do you want to take the chance of experimenting with me not here? And then you guys are back in the lottery or you guys are an average team? Like you have to strike while the iron's hot, especially if Chris Paul was late 30s. You already had Booker disgruntled and now Booker's now tasting winning. His first ever playoffs, he goes to the NBA Finals.
Yeah,
you can't take a step back. You can't do it.
I agree.
That's why I feel like they have a tough. Well, I feel like the Suns are screwed regardless because eventually Chris Paul's going to retire or leave that team.
Right.
Ayton's going to be in the max. Like Booker might be back. Like I think they're going to be in a weird spot sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
We can't forget about Bridges and all of this. Who's like,
you're right.
Gets shit done all the time. Yeah, it's funny because they basically chose Bridges. I don't know if they chose Bridges over Ayton, like as that being finalized, but they did give Bridges the money before Ayton. So that's why I'm hesitant to say that it's just a done deal. Phoenix is going to give him the that
Max.
extension, this offseason.
So
But we'll
many-
see though. He's a good player. He's a really
yeah,
good player.
there's so many questions to it. Like I feel like the West is interesting because you have
Mhm.
the Sun situation, the Warriors. It's funny because Curry set the record and lost his jumper.
Oh,
So it's like
That's
how
my
I'm
thing
played
with the
like-
himself.
Suns, though. When the Warriors play the Suns, the Warriors are like, no.
it's like they
We're gonna
come
take you guys
rise to the
very
occasion.
seriously tonight.
Yeah.
The Suns and the Warriors. I feel like the Suns play hard every game, and the Warriors not as much. And the Warriors are only a few games back, so
and
that's
they're not even fully healthy.
right. All
Still
that,
no
yeah.
Wiseman, still no Iguodala.
So we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, that's all the basketball talk I wanted to do. Before we get going, let me just both of you. I know you're here for basketball, Clevis, but your Super Bowl pick. Give me your pick. Give me your pick and the score. Give me the pick and the
man.
final score.
Oh, I'm not good at this stuff. I will. Oh man, Burrow. I do want to see the Bengals win, but I'm gonna go with the Rams. I'm not good with these numbers, man. Hopefully no bettors listening to me.
You got
I'll
one
go-
right there.
Lock it in.
I'll go 33-24
Interesting.
Rams, and I'll even give you.
Okay.
I'll say Aaron Donald MVP.
MVP.
MVP. I like that.
Okay, Jay.
Yeah. Damn. So I'm with Clevis. I picked the Rams, but obviously I could easily see Burrow and Cincy just could just finish.
Burrow's
capping off
popularity
this
will go to
magical
the moon
run.
if they win this weekend. By the way,
Yeah. Like I think the Rams should win just because like you look at it, their defensive. But we won't do too much football. I'm not about to just do a whole breakdown.
I was just like,
Well, yeah.
dude, it sucks because like I'm formulating a whole take in my head right now.
I'll keep it. I'll try to keep
Like
it
a
light. I
whole
just think-
fucking Russillo monologues going on in my
Yeah.
head.
put it like
right
this:
now.
I think the
know,
Rams have more pressure to win than the Bengals.
For sure.
That's definitely
For
true.
sure.
Stafford's numbers this year. No. But I think the Rams have just this dominant a defensive line led by Donald, as you mentioned, Clevis, and Cincy's Achilles heel is their offensive line. But at the same time, Burrow got sacked 9 times. They beat Tennessee. They went into Arrowhead and beat Mahomes. Like, why not? Cincy won the Super Bowl at this point, So Rams is the right pick, I think.
Let me hear your pick.
I'm gonna go with. I don't know. All right, the Rams are the
Can't
right
even say
pick,
it.
but gun to my head, I'm picking Cincy.
Oh! What's the score?
Score, I think it's gonna be a shootout. I'll say like 34-31 Cincy.
Okay.
You came to get an MVP prediction as well.
MVP prediction, I'll give it to Burrow.
All right.
McPherson is a sleeper though.
Oh. All right.
Little kicker action.
So here's my thing real quick.
Oh,
If it's a low scoring game, the Rams. The Rams are going to win the low scoring game. That involves Burrow just getting murdered on the field. Like
define
Aaron
a low
Donald
scoring
just
game though.
biting Burrows like a fucking lion walking away with a zebra in its mouth. It's going to be Aaron Donald with Burrow potentially.
Yeah.
I'm also picking the Bengals in a shootout.
All right.
I'm going to go Bengals 34. No, was I going to do your score? Did you say 34-31?
Yeah.
I'm going to go 29-27 Bengals.
Okay.
And it's weird. They could be a team of destiny. They could be the 0-1 Pats, and this could be the start to something.
Uh-huh.
Or they fucking get destroyed. And we
we
say,
never see
remember
them
that
again."
fluky run where they just kept pulling these games out of their ass, even though Burrow
Yeah.
got sacked 100 times, and
Right.
they missed the playoffs next year? That could totally happen.
For sure.
But I'm going to side with them being a team of destiny and Burrow just being a fucking winner
Yeah.
for the past, 2 years when he actually plays. This is the 100% comeback player of the year, and he will be the MVP of the Super Bowl. And
Wait,
what's up?
so you're saying this is the start of a dynasty if they win?
I don't want to say that. I won't go that far.
Well,
I'm
where's
just
Josh
saying
Allen at?
team of destiny.
Okay.
This
No,
team
I-
at least.
They definitely feel there's some magic to this team. I agree with that. For sure.
Not
Jamar
man-made.
Chase.
I don't know why I said
I
man-made.
got you.
But not bought like the Rams.
Yeah, like the
Through
Rams.
draft,
Just like the Rams in
I mean, shoot, they were
2018.
the worst team in the league 2 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
Worst team in the league 2 years ago. But I think the Bengals have nothing to lose. I think everything's on the Rams, especially. I feel it's cool seeing Matthew Stafford. To me, Stafford is a Hall of Fame caliber QB. Like the only thing is he doesn't have like the accolades. But I think, and then OBJ, if he wins it, obviously
That'd be interesting. So
like there's a
That'd be
lot,
cool.
like there's way more storylines and more interesting angles with the Rams. That's why we all know. Like I think everyone in the country can agree. Like you lose, that's crazy. Like
there's more pressure. Yeah.
it's more pressure.
It's like
Just more
Stafford. You can't see Stafford getting back there. You can totally
No
see
way.
Burrow. But that's the Super Bowl, man.
Anything.
You
It's one
don't-
game.
You
Single
could get there when you're
elimination.
20. You can Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
You can get there very early
Yeah.
and never return.
Yeah.
This happened to plenty of guys, not just Rodgers. This happened.
Rogers just won
In-
MVP tonight.
in
by
any
the way.
sport. In any sport, it shows you how.
Was that
fucking
tonight?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you
NFL
fucking
honors.
kidding me?
Yeah.
I know, isn't that so random on a fucking Thursday night? But
Rodgers. So Rodgers is the MVP.
Yep.
We knew it, but who cares? I like that. I like how underwhelming it is.
yeah, it's
you were the most valuable player, I guess, but you blew it again. Take your trophy.
exactly. Yeah,
And but it just shows you too. Like I was gonna say, it shows you how finite championship windows is about Aaron Rodgers not getting back there again. But also, real quick, I'm not a big fan of like, I know the NFL is different, but like I'm not a fan of like the sports award shows. Like I'm like the again old school, like NBA for instance. Like
NBA does it right.
yeah, is the awards gone? The award show's gone, right?
yeah. No bullshit. When was the last NBA award show?
I just like a nice press conference with the
The
guy
press
holding
conference,
the
and then you put
trophy.
up the
with the
award
team
for
and the
whole-
family.
Yeah.
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 You get the KD. You're the
Mama,
real
you're
MVP
the real MVP,
speech.
yeah.
Yep.
I'm trying to look at other awards. I forgot Cooper Cup. Oh, was named Offensive Player of the Year, and he earned one vote for MVP. But yeah, Cooper Cup. I think
Well deserved.
again, I think the Rams have too much going on.
There might be
also-
too much on the Rams to stop, which hurts my soul, Clevis, because we are beloved. We kneel at the altar of Brady. And if the Rams win, it's just going to be another Super Bowl that I feel like Brady had right in his grasps.
So, what was your reaction to that ending of that game, the Bucks game?
It's the perfect way for his career to end.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't his fault.
Especially if the Rams win the Super Bowl, because he's instilling fear into this team where it's like, yeah, you beat him, but you escaped by the skin of your teeth.
Exactly.
You dodged a massive bullet. He almost got you. He needed the ball one more time.
Yeah.
It's a classic way to go out. Like wrestling, when guys retire in wrestling, they lose the match. You lose your match.
Putting someone over.
You go out on your back. Stone Cold putting The Rock over. All that shit. Like, that's basically kind of how Brady went out in the most crazy way possible.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No, I agree. It's like you're putting the young guy over. Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah.
Especially, I just think about it just again because I watched that live. I was like, I can't believe Brady came back from 27-3. He almost did it again.
Just the camera shots too of just like fumble, and then they're showing Brady like warming up on the sideline. It's like it's happening again.
I'm gonna miss that, man. That little moment of like the team turning over the ball and seeing Brady warming up on the sideline, like that. See, that's the little shit I'm gonna miss with.
I
him.
rewatched. I had to rewatch. It was on last Sunday, NFL. I told you, Jay. They were playing it was like Tom Brady Day. They were playing the Atlanta Super Bowl, the Seattle Super Bowl, the Carolina Super Bowl, which like I watched. Like they credit the defense for those first 3 championships. The defense got lit up in that Carolina Super Bowl, and Brady was really good.
He was.
No disrespect to the defense, like they were great, but like the Carolina had a superpower offense with Steve Smith and Muhammad, Nazir Muhammad.
And Brady was great in that Eagles loss too.
He was amazing in the Eagles loss. It's the most yards anybody's ever thrown in a Super Bowl.
I think Brady's just just a guy that like to get to the point of your sport where it's like, yeah, you strike fair. It's like let's basketball. You don't want Kobe taking a last shot. You don't want Brady now Mahomes has the aura of like all like when the Chiefs won the coin toss. Damn, game over.
Yeah, not anymore though.
Yeah.
Not after that shit. We did our whole Mahomes thing last week. I'm not a Mahomes hater, but while we're on the talk about Brady, Clevis, we were gonna do this after you left. But you're here now. Did you hear about the Deflategate stuff? How
So
they,
okay, I could talk football.
yeah, the NFL basically
Admitted, yeah.
that it's all bullshit, and Goodell should be executed on national television, in my opinion.
Well, what's also interesting about that is because Goodell had a press conference yesterday. He was
He's a
like,
scumbag, dude.
he
He's an
basically
absolute
was,
scumbag.
he was like oblivious to it all. I'm like, time out. I was like, wait a minute.
The
You almost
commissioner
let
saying that.
you almost let something about deflated footballs go to the Supreme Court. Let's like,
I love it,
Right.
and it happens. It's not just this. It's not just the blatant hate for the Patriots and Brady and all that led to all of this, but it's the fact that you're worried about this opposed to guys doing terrible things off the field and the
the
corrupt
Raiders.
the Raiders and the corrupt with the Brian Flores situation right now.
Yeah.
It's almost like they let this out to take the heat off of that situation, which is a
Yeah.
disgusting situation that they can't. The evidence is there. Flores is being a like the evidence has always been there, probably with a million of these guys, but they didn't want to risk their career like Flores is doing right now.
Right.
So now they're telling us that Deflategate was all bullshit, which we already knew.
Exactly.
Yeah, and you know what's crazy is like the NFL, like I always jokingly say like yeah, the NFL and NBA has like so much drama, but I'm like the NBA has fun drama. The NFL has like some real drama, like
Right.
Right, yeah. The NFL is
It's like
guys-
legit crimes being committed. There's
Yeah.
court cases involved.
Right.
Yeah, but I'm like yeah, even with like Deflategate, but the Brian Flores situation is interesting to me because one like there was a reporter that asked like Goodell like a really good. First of all, his name is Jim. Oh damn, drop my earpiece. His name is Jim Trotter, and he asked him like a well thought out question. He gave facts with his question, saying about like you guys have this commitment to diversity and inclusion, and then people are pointing out like what's the whole purpose of Jay-Z being part of the league, like what's happened since.
Yeah.
And it's like it's like the NFL's putting up this front. And I'm of the belief, like, if you have to have a rule for people to interview black people, then that's a problem in itself.
Exactly.
Like, and I think Brian Flores is doing the right. He's taking the biggest risk you can take, where he's putting his career on the line.
Yeah,
and also he's kind of like making things a little rocky because in doing so, following the lawsuit, he had to kind of expose his text messages with Bill Belichick, the man that gave him an opportunity.
Yeah.
So it's a dicey situation, but like in order to get change, someone has to take the risk, right?
Has to be done. Yeah,
it has to be done.
And I'm happy you elaborated on this more because it reminds me. Like I was thinking the other day. And I said this on the last pod, or whenever we talked about Flores last. Half the league is black. There's a million of them. There's a million great African-American football minds out there. Don't tell me that all of these, like, if half of the players are black, I don't know why all of the coaches are white. And you look at it, it's as deep as this. And it is, what's it called? When a guy passes something down to his kid, it just keeps going down like that. I don't know why. Easy ass word that's escaping.
I know what you're talking about too.
Oh God, my brain is like shutting down.
I know.
We're
recording this at 3 a.m. on
inheritance.
No, but a worse word. It's like.
Is it to do with jobs like nepotism?
Yeah,
no.
nepotism.
Oh,
yes.
nepotism. Okay.
So it's nepotism, and it's like. They're like, and it's like, oh, this cool thing. Like, look at the 2013 Redskins staff. You had Shanahan. You had under Mike Shanahan. You have Kyle Shanahan. You have Kyle Shanahan's friend, fucking Sean McVay. You have Matt LaFleur, and now you have that guy who just got hired. What's his name? McDaniel, who's now the Dolphins coach.
Mike McDaniel.
No disrespect to any of these guys, but it's no coincidence that it just passes down through these connections. You know, that's what it is, and that's why. These guys, these black coaches can't get chances, and when they do get chances, they're off, and once they're on a tight leash.
Yeah.
It's just a terrible situation. I wanted to cover that. And Deflategate, nothing really else to say. We're running low on time. Jeremiah, any Attack on Titan thoughts before we go? Clevis, I don't know if you watch Attack on Titan.
Anime.
Yeah, we finish every episode with Attack on Titan.
I will say I don't watch anime, but for some reason, like I will watch like RDC World One's like spoof videos.
Yeah, he's hilarious. He's really good. He's you know what's funny? Real quick, RDC World, that genre of like YouTube videos, like those guys, like most of those are always super corny, but he always makes me laugh.
It's like it reminds me.
It's a hard thing to do. It's a hard thing to be good at.
And he's been doing it for years.
Yeah.
Now he has a deal with I think some actress. But yeah, it's like crazy. I know I'm gonna let you guys finish up, but it's just crazy to me
Yeah.
because he like that group started like they were doing like obviously doing LeBron videos. The fact that they were able to branch out to do other stuff, like it's just crazy. Like now they do anime,
Yeah.
they do games, a video game house, like and they
Smart
haven't.
guys.
Yeah, it's fat. Like to me, it's cool to see that they're not like B.A5. When I remember him B. Where it was the NBA impressionist. Now he's kind of he does things with like Max is nice, but it's not as funny. And
Yeah.
it's like leave it to Supreme Dreams. It's to the point now where it's like if something crazy happens in the NBA or LeBron later, we're waiting on the video.
Right. Like,
Yeah.
and they have it like ready before it even drops. Like
He
their
tweeted
fucking Bleacher
today.
Report or something.
He tweeted today. He was like, "How I can't believe Lakers did nothing. We had our camera ready." I was like,
Oh man.
"They were." I
That's
know they're
funny.
waiting for Westbrook to get traded. I was like,
That's
"Yeah,
actually
Westbrook
really
got
funny.
traded. They were ready to go."
Yeah.
Uh,
All right, Titan
Jay, I watched a
thoughts.
video today. When Aaron versus Annie in season 1, and you remember when he went crazy and was gonna eat her and shit.
Yeah.
He's whipping, dude. You know what he says? He's like, I'm gonna. He's not even talking about the situation anymore. He's
Is he
like, I'm gonna destroy
foreshadowing?
everybody in the world. I'm gonna destroy the world, and I want to be free. And it's like, it's
See.
crazy the foreshadow.
Yeah.
That's some really good foreshadowing. That it's like
It's a
all the way back
force.
now, where now he. I mean, that was crazy, Jay. That was a very well done episode and scene. Just you're going through hell with this girl the whole
Oh
time. It's
man,
never
yeah.
ending. Even after her death, she's just like in hell, just like being a slave, and the music's playing and the king's monologues going on, and it just stops with Aaron.
No bullshit. That episode took Attack on Titan. Obviously, the show was already great, but that episode took it to another level for me. No bullshit. Because once we learned about Ymir's backstory and her background, and then she touched something, and then you start looking
Good
into what
enough for
that
me though.
something was.
Good enough
Yeah,
for me. It's probably an alien life form or whatever. Like whatever it was gave her this power.
yeah. Apparently, it's like whatever that created all matter in the world. But yeah, yo, it goes back. So another foreshadow moment that I just remembered, Gabe, was when I think it was Aaron, Mikasa, and then someone else was with him.
Armin?
It must have been Armin. Yeah, they were out on like the beachfront or whatever, looking across
Oh
to.
yeah, yeah. At the end of season 3. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
remember Aaron is like, so if we
Just kill everybody
destroy,
over there.
yeah, if we just destroy everything over there, we're gonna be free.
Yeah.
And it's like, in the moment, it's like it's just an innocent
Well,
question.
at
Aaron's
that
like,
point, once he
he's
kisses
that
Historia's
ass.
hand, he knows
Everything.
everything at
Yeah,
that point. He knows even after what we haven't even seen everything he knows yet.
I'm hell.
Um, so at that point, yeah, for sure. And then I just love like I've been watching Irwin videos, R.I.P. Uh, Still probably the best character for me. Just like him in season 1 going up to Aaron. I hope I didn't. I might have said this last week on the pod. Who do you think the real enemy is? And you're like, this at this point, it's just like, oh, there's man-eating giants attacking. Like, we don't know what the fuck Irwin's talking about.
Yeah,
Who do you think the real
but
enemy is? And then Irwin's the guy who thinks, without knowing, without any powers, without any connections, for some reason, Irwin knows in his heart there's life outside the walls.
right.
Just the best. That dude really is the Belichick of fucking. And then he is the Belichick because I was watching that last episode of season 1,
Mhm.
and all the sergeants are freaking out, like, oh, Aaron and Annie are fine. They're gonna destroy the city. Are you gonna handle this? Are you gonna stop them? Are you gonna take
And he's
that down?
just
And
calm.
Erwin's just like calm, and like it's Belichick with Seattle not taking the timeout.
Yes.
He's just like, yeah, you can fucking fire me or whatever if you want after this, whatever goes down. And
Yeah.
obviously everything works out in his favor. But yeah, last episode, and also the voice acting's crazy. Like Aaron's voice
Crazy.
actor. Think about it. This is the same guy who voices him as a child. And he's voicing this fucking psycho right
Damn, I
now.
didn't even think about
People
that
don't think
shit.
about
So I
like
like
this.
you talking about those details, Gabe, because like the
That's talent.
not to like like I like the behind the scenes stuff of like creating content, like the
Yeah.
movies, the films. Like there was last year during the pandemic, I looked up like, oh, I wonder what it's like being an actor, being a voice actor, being a director,
Yeah.
being a writer in those writers' rooms, like
Yeah.
the whole process just getting to the script. Like I'm like, to me, I was just like, yo, this is a crazy process because there's so many people involved just to make one episode.
Yeah.
Exactly. There's so many bits and pieces, and I mentioned like Demon Slayer last week was insane too, but not in the story aspect that Attack on Titan is. It's like it was just beautiful looking, where I can. It's like a team. It's like you give fucking Jimmy Garoppolo a bunch of weapons, and that's Demon Slayer basically. But Attack on Titan, it's like you're giving fucking I don't know. I don't want to say Brady because I don't think Attack on Titan is the best of all time, but like it's like you're giving fucking Patrick Mahomes a bunch of weapons, and
Mm,
that's what he does with them. Like he goes
yeah.
crazy, and that's what Attack on Titans has been blessed with. It's been on two animation studios now. First it was Wit, now it's Mappa, and both of them have done a really good job. Uh, what's next, Jay? What do you think's gonna happen with this rumbling?
So yeah, so it ended with he activated the rumbling. It looks like they're just moving.
Terrifying.
Yeah, but that shit was yo. So I seen a thing. They said those walls might have been named after
Yeah, they
the
were after that
daughters.
guy's the daughters. Yeah, when he said
Oh, they
that, and
were
that
for
just made
real?
me sick. That it's like
That he did that.
that
Ugh,
king. wa- The fact
horrible.
that he just dies a normal death instead of getting like fucked up. Like you remember, you
He's the
remember,
real devil, bro.
you remember Aaron's dad's backstory with the owl, and that
No.
guy like has the Nazi dude like has Aaron's dad's sister ate by dogs, and
Oh
he's
yeah,
like
yeah, okay,
injecting
yeah.
people. I'll send it to you after. It's amazing. Uh, he gets a fucking gruesome death, you know? Like he gets
Right.
his at the end. It's satisfying. This guy he just dies, and then he's still fucking talking after he's dead. Like you will create my titans for the rest of time.
Damn.
So, which is what made
Yeah.
Aaron. And this is why Zeke's bitch, because Zeke doesn't give.
I'm
He
not.
knows all this, and he doesn't give a fuck.
He's so I don't even know what Zeke's issue is, bro. I don't even know what the logic is in him thinking that like bro, I just don't get it. I don't get
Yeah,
it. I
I'm
don't get
waiting
Zeke's
for
approach.
whatever the explanation will be. But yeah, Aaron, do you agree with him destroying everybody? Like, there's a lot of innocent people who are gonna die. No,
Yeah,
but
that's
do
the
I
shit.
respect? Like, and I do think people think he was just manipulating Ymir at the end to like help him. I think he
No,
truly saw everything she went through and
she
cared
knew
about
this was
her.
gonna happen. They both
Right.
knew this moment was gonna happen. So
Exactly. So like, I respect it. I think Aaron's a neutral character. I don't think he's completely evil. I think he wants what's best for his
damn.
loved
So
ones. What's up?
I was gonna say, so you think Aaron's about to black out on everyone else?
Yes, and I think
That's
it's
gonna
going
get
to
me
be up
sick,
to
bro.
I think we're going to need a certain somebody to come back into
You
the
don't
fray
mean
to take him out.
you don't mean Captain Levi, do you?
I mean I mean the TV. I mentioned the
Yo,
Belichick of AOT
oh
there. I
shit.
think
So
it's
you're
time for
predicting that?
he might
Oh,
have to
that's
swoop
actually
in and
lit.
take out Aaron.
I think what's gonna happen. I think Aaron might activate Annie on some nut shit, or like him and Annie are gonna link up because Annie's not about to just go missing for a whole season.
For a whole fucking like
For
after
like two
season 1 she
seasons, right?
dipped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think Aaron and Annie are gonna link up. That's gonna be some shit. And then I think someone who Aaron thinks is on his side is gonna have to turn on him to stop him from just ending the world. But how that shit's gonna happen remains to be seen. But yo,
Right.
this show is so fucking good.
And like we have to see what happens with Falco and shit.
Oh yeah, because Falco's just a Titan now, right?
I know a little spoiler about what Falco will look like as a Titan. But
You think Gabby got saved at the end there by
yes.
right? Yeah,
I'm
they didn't
so
show
sad.
it,
I
but
want Reiner to have like some nice resolution. I don't think we're gonna get it, but it's like, why would you put this guy through so much hell for so long?
yeah, poor Reiner, bro.
Just to like fucking.
Just to get his ass beat and he's saving some kid from death so he
He's
can feel bad
always.
about it.
He did it when Aaron transformed in the beginning of this of season 4, part 1. Remember in the basement, he immediately like
Oh yeah.
shields Falco. Like this guy cares about the children. He's literally just doing what's best for like in his viewpoint
Nah, he
for
really
everybody around
does.
him. It's way less selfless than like what Aaron and Zeke are doing.
Yeah, I think Reiner is gonna go out with a W, whether it's him dying or
I'd love
whatever.
to.
Because you even mentioned it with that moment last season with him saving Falco in the
Yeah.
basement. Wasn't he like in hy? I don't. Is hibernation the right word? I don't know the right term to use when they just go fucking. They just decide they're just gonna stop moving. But like, remember
They're
he was
just gonna
just
like
stuck.
bail on the Titan.
Yeah, remember he was sick in like whatever Titan body he was in, and then I think he heard Gabby screaming,
Yes, that was awesome.
Rainer,
That was
Rainer.
awesome.
It's like, no,
That
let
was a
me
typical shonen
die.
moment. That was like
Bruh,
your
good.
fucking, you see that in every anime. That was Reiner's moment there.
That was so good. I love that
Uh,
moment. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see. How much episodes are left? This
I'm
will be
not
my last
sure. Probably
question.
like 7. I think we
Okay.
still have a good amount,
Yeah,
which
we
is
got a
like,
little journey.
because it felt like
Yeah.
we're nearing the end last
That's what
week,
I'm
right?
saying. That felt like the
But
peak.
the season just started like 4 or 5 episodes ago.
We
And
definitely have to see Annie
all I'm gonna
again,
say about
bro.
Reiner, dude, is I talked to somebody who read the manga. First of all, people who read the manga, everybody says the ending sucks, which drives me crazy. I really hope if it does suck that the anime changes it to something
Facts.
more satisfying. And I told the guy my Reiner was one of my favorite characters. He told me I was down bad.
What?
Who knows what that means?
Yeah, what does that mean? I
Yeah.
will say though, because remember, people who watch the manga game, you would tell me like Zeke ends up as the hero. There is a roadmap
Or
now
they
for
say Zeke's
Zeke.
the goat. We'll see.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
could see it how it might happen because now Aaron has just basically said fuck everything. Maybe Zeke, he has a euphoric moment. It's like, okay, I have to stop this dude. Probably not, but
Right.
I see it though. I'll say that.
Yeah. At the end of the day,
Good.
though, it was those
Eren,
motherfuckers who attacked the walls. You know, they pulled
yeah,
up on the people in the wall.
fuck Marley, bro.
Yeah, it's still fuck Marley. I'm sorry. At the end of the day,
100%.
but we'll continue next week. Like I said, guys, this is a late episode of the Richie Mecco Connection. It'll be there for you this weekend. Listen to it whenever you want. It's gonna drop Friday. Uh, we'll come back Monday. Probably drop Tuesday morning ish, Monday night maybe. We'll be back to talk about the Super Bowl, a few other things, and then we're gonna go on a little hiatus, maybe a week or two, because that will end season 3.
Yep.
And yeah, Clevis, did you already plug anything?
Yeah, at Clovis Murray. Also do have a quick update for you guys. The Suns blew out the Bucks.
Oh, that game was tonight.
I
Chris
saw
Paul
clips of
fin-
it. I saw some
Yeah,
clips
Chris
while
Paul
we were
finished
on.
with 17 points, 19 assists,
Yo,
seven rebounds,
he's
and
an
two
MVP
steals.
discussion for me. I'm sorry, he is.
He is, yeah, definitely.
DeAndre Ayton finished with
Uh-oh.
27 points and 7 boards in 26 minutes.
Okay, my fault, boss.
There you
This
go.
dude, Chris
Suns won
Paul,
by
you said
24.
19 assists, bro. That's a minimum 38
He's the
points
point
just
guard.
off assists that he accounted for. Man,
He's the point
yeah,
guard.
he sure is.
Yeah, all the Sun starters were scored in double figures.
That's great to hear. Yeah, I like that team. All right, guys. That was a blast. That was a very, very, very long podcast, and it's very, very, very late here. And I
We
enjoyed
thugged
every
it through
second of
though.
it. I enjoyed every
Facts.
second. It was well worth it. And thanks for coming by, Clevis. I
All
know
right, no
it's
problem.
Yes.
late at night. You're a busy man, and
Appreciate it, man.
thanks for returning so soon.
No problem. Man. Anytime I got
Welcome
you
back
guys.
anytime, Clevis. All right, Jay.
See you next week, Gabe.
Go take your red pill before you go to bed.
I'm out of here, man. Peace.
Yes.
Oh man, you good?